chapter in Contenders.
All these different teams are going to have actually kind of their own identity. The start of this season gives me so much hope for the rest of the year.
Especially against the Doomfist as legendary as Danid, getting the one up on them in the Doomfist differential is definitely a big boon here for Backbone.
Ultraviolet with the Ant Matrix.
Ultraviolet playing Aim Trainer with his burst. The Baby Diva kills both for DPS.
Ryder with the double.
I am in absolute awe.
So Odyssey might want to call a push here.
That's Blue Camino. Oh my, Ultraviolet popped the trance, ran it into Sigma. What a play from Ultraviolet.
I'm watching Sigma to see where this pulse bomb can go, and you don't even need it. All you gotta do is depend on Sigma, because he makes a movie out of Overwatch.
When Speedily turns 18, bidding war.
That is the Speedily diff.
Seeker here, doing a lot of damage, and Seeker's someone who we definitely have to highlight.
Seeker killed both of them.
Every single member of his team right now is doing what they need to do. They are popping off perfectly.
There are no more second chances.
Fuki right here, if I could get a bit. Oh, it's a nut splash!
Oh my
Into a big slab.
British Hurricane have not ascended to godhood yet. Hell, double fire strike on the Solar and Hades.
We've got a series on our hands.
Whoa, the double move! Oh, gee!
EXO was never supposed to be here, and yet here they are.
Having to do that insane lower bracket run, a little greedy for my
Icy.
If you thought this was not going to go down to the very wire, well, you were dead wrong.
Welcome to the final day of the April tournament for Overwatch Contenders Europe. My name is Trid and I am joined by Necra. We've got an action-packed conclusion to our elongated tournament run we've had in April. Rose, let's kick things off. Last night was a fantastic night of Overwatch. We had a result we did not expect. British Hurricane, for the first time in over a year, has not made it to a grand final of one of these tournaments. And so we are guaranteed a new king, not necessarily by title tonight.
I'm so excited that we get a chance to create history tonight in European Overwatch Contenders. Let's go ahead and pull up that schedule for you to show you all the Overwatch action that you can experience today. We are going to be kicking things off with New Kings versus Exoblivione, and then the winner of this series will go on to the grand finals and a first to four versus Shoes Money Crew, who has made it there through the winner's bracket.
And as this is potentially opening up to a wider audience tonight, let's set the stakes of what actually happens in Europe in terms of the metagame, Rose. We're seeing a lot of that rush and brawl, the mainstay composition of McCree, May, Reinhardt, Diva, Lucio, and Baptiste. But one of the things I love most about our European teams, particularly the ones left in the tournament, is that they all bring their own flavor and adaptations to the comp.
A lot of what we've seen develop in European Contenders has been the rush and the brawl, or interchangeably so, as you just mentioned. But we also have to talk about the fact that we've seen a lot of Doomfist, and that's thanks to Shoes Money Crew, which has been consistently towards the top of the standings in European Contenders. For one of the first times since March 2020, they are going to be seeing a grand final yet again, but this time through the winner's bracket. And they've been really putting the pressure onto a lot of these teams in Europe to have to adapt and adjust their playstyle and game plan to the Doomfist flavor of the rush.
And we will find out who will go up against Shoes Money Crew in that grand final after our first match. Let's bring out the team, shall we? We're going to start off with Exoblivione. And this roster is they are extremely familiar with the lower bracket run. They've done it multiple times to find themselves in grand finals, Rose. So this is familiar territory for them, and we're hoping for more of the same with their result today. Particular players to keep an eye out on: Smex, who everyone may be familiar with, a mainstay of European Overwatch. But Backbone, Fuki, these are two names in the damage rotation that have just accelerated to an element of stardom in the European region.
I'm taking a look at Smex as the best diva in European contenders right now. And then you take a look at Backbone, who has been able to play flexibly with their hero pool and bring out unique picks that are map dependent. And one of those picks that Exoblivione has been pulling out of their pocket has been the Doomfist. And that Doomfist has been so oppressive. We just talked about how Shoes Money Crew has used it to rise to stardom and rise to the occasion, but Exoblivione has done the same. In fact, even beating out Shoes Money Crew last month of Contenders to secure second place over Shoes Money Crew that got third. But on the flip side of things, we've got the New Kings. And the New Kings are a name that are such a force to be reckoned with when it comes down to the players that they have on the team. KSA is one of the best off tanks in European Contenders, so I'm really excited to see the Smex versus KSA duel. And then you've got Psycho and Grethin. Grethin, especially in this meta, is very dominant on the McCree and also on the Ashe. So being able to see both of those picks come through from the New Kings, I think will be very strong.
An SMC in an interview yesterday said that they noticed that in both of the matches that sent both of these teams to the lower bracket, that they felt as though the New Kings and Exoblivione weren't playing to full strength for whatever reason it may be. So if they have found that form, the level they expect everyone to be at, could see a close series on our hand, and SMC will actually have to work harder than they have done in this bracket so far to confirm that win. Let's pull up the map set, just let you know where we're starting off on. We're going to be kicking things off with Oasis. And from there on out, the losing team gets to go and pick the following map. So we always kick things off with a control map here. And I feel as though this is a map that is going to enable teams to get a run out with the Doomfist. Not necessarily on every round. I know University is probably going to have that pick roll out. But I feel like Doomfist is going to be a baseline for Exoblivione to pivot around. We've already spoken a little bit about Backbone and the damage options they have available. The Doomfist may be the mainstay, but we've seen multiple picks coming out here. We've seen the Hangzhou seems to be a good flex for Exo as well.
Absolutely. I want to talk about those hero picks just a little bit more before we enter into the map, but one thing that I have to mention is that Oasis was Exoblivione's pick, and they have a 100% win rate on this map for this month of Contenders. While we are playing the same map set as the previous month of Contenders, this is just a great starting point on Oasis, especially for Exoblivione, who is the higher seed in this matchup, being able to pick the first map. This is a comfort pick for them, and I'm kind of expecting that at least for the first map, Exoblivione should be able to take this, and maybe with the Doomfist flavor, as you mentioned.
And if you're watching on the Contenders channel, you can go ahead and get your predictions in now. 1 for the New Kings, 2 for Exoblivione. Let us know who you think is going to be walking away with this series and staring down Shoes Money Crew in the freshly abdicated throne room.
New Kings and Exoblivione we will be entering into our first map of Oasis in this first to 3 series before the grand finals takes us to a first to 4. But yes, get your predictions in. Honestly, Trid, even for me, I'm on the fence about who's going to take this one. Obviously, Exoblivione, they have the track record and the history to prove themselves as one of the best teams in European Contenders. But a lot of the players that we've had a chance to talk to have touted New Kings as a force to be reckoned with when it comes down to the flexibility that they have for their team compositions and their play style.
Both of the damage lineups tend to have good pivot picks here. Greffen went ahead and hovered the Reaper. We saw some playtime from that on Command Center yesterday when we had our Li Jiang start. And we already talked about how Backbone is willing to go for the flex as well. I feel as though that's where you're going to see the most variety. That's where you're going to see the little differences that avoid the mirror matchup. It's in that damage lineup for the two teams. I don't think we're going to see them flex over to the Zarya like we see with SMC, so it's all going to be a mainstay tank line. Backbone already applying pressure to Lolsish, able to get behind the shield, pelt a few pellets into the back. Gets back to the safety of his team and that immortality field. But without the main tank, New Kings have to concede so much space. Can't find any retaliatory picks. They will end up giving up that first fight and the point capture to Exo.
One of the things that I really love about Backbone's style of play on the Doomfist is that they don't hesitate when it comes down to setting up plays and getting picks. Backbone was in the perfect position to be able to knock up Lulsish on the opposing team and be able to take out that shield before we really saw that shield come into play to be able to protect the rest of the team. Grethin, though, you're going to have to watch out for this one because this particular player really likes to go on flanks with Fuki. So I'm expecting that we are going to see a little bit of that playstyle come into the fold.
And with Fuki on the Symmetra, we don't have to worry about the McCree, but that teleport was being paid a lot of presence. We get the white noise shatter out. It's another fight win here for EXO. They've not committed many resources themselves, Rose, so they should be able to come back into this one, and there's still plenty of time to play with the capture percentage.
Especially on the attacking side, as the new Kings are going to come back and try to recontest the point. That's when the amplification matrix can become incredibly powerful, because you can use it to buy yourself a lot of space, especially in this tiny room.
And with the shield in the middle, it's going to break up the fight. Teleporter will take Lulsish into the danger zone. Still, the only resource being committed by the new Kings is that amplification matrix. But they've made Ex-Oblivion burn everything apart from the self-destruct, which Smex hasn't been able to generate yet. Great series of eco pushes. Now we need to see them convert it to a dub and get the flip on point.
The beautiful thing about having so many ultimates online for the new Kings is that now they can use one ultimate to force out Slay's immortality field and use the second to execute. So there's a lot of options that they can use here, or just get a pick with the Deadeye.
They can do it without Rose. If they snap Dollar before the immortality field comes out, they win the fight just from that. They had so much to burn in this engagement, and being able to do it with one is a huge win, because you cannot deny that they have to climb up against that 90% difference that EXO has set for themselves. If they lose here, they are going to lose the round. So ultimate economy has to be on point for the new Kings.
Absolutely, and I'm looking at Dredro's sound barrier as being a huge piece of the kit to really help the new Kings stabilize when it comes to this next engagement. Exarath has been one of the best Batistes, so I'm not expecting this immortality field to get popped too early. But that's when the sound barrier can come in. If you do have to use that immortality field just a little bit more selfishly, let's say for a backbone Doomfist punch.
Self-destruct committed to the fight. You had Psycho and Greffen waiting on the flank. KSA is going to be the only one to get caught out by that shatter. So not a huge loss for the new Kings. They will hold the line for the time being. They've lost Exo Wrath. Backbone will be traded out as Psycho picks up the 2-for-1 on the back line, immediately turns his attention to White Noise. I don't see Exo walking away with this fight whatsoever.
No, this is where the new Kings are able to hold their own, and now Psycho can give a little bit of medicine back to Backbone when it comes to playing that aggressive style of Doomfist. With that Meteor Strike, you're able to play a lot more risky, and that means going in for really, really crucial picks, and if you don't get it, then you're able to slam down with that Meteor Strike, and you have that get out of jail free card.
Let's see if Psycho abuses that get out of jail free card. They're on an off angle for the time being, separated from the team. Can try and cut off the push from EXO, split the fight by finding a rocket punch. You got Greffen on the flank from either side. This is a pincer against EXO. They may fall prey to. Greffen rolls in, flashbang on the Slay, no immortality field, immediate follow-up from the new Kings. As Psycho comes diving in, needs to take out the other support, but the beat will come out from Dollar to stabilize. We're at 90%, EXO have to commit to this one, and they've lost 2 members. Lulsish will drop the hammer down, gets the stun onto Fuki. The clearance is there for the new Kings. As EXO will answer back with 2 kills, but there's too many bodies on the point, 99%. Overtime's gonna tick down, and they cannot touch. The new Kings will take round number 1.
Round number 1, and you can see the new Kings were trying to get back to point a little bit faster from the members that they had lost, but new Kings able to walk away with that very first round puts Ex-Oblivion a little bit on the back foot there. New Kings, they have historically had trouble with the Doomfist matchup, getting sent to the lower bracket and also out of the tournament by 2 teams that have been able to play that Doomfist rush effectively. But the way that the new Kings have adapted to being able to play that Doomfist rush is just playing a Doomfist rush of their own, and it's working out beautifully for them.
That was not the scoreline I was expecting on the chat prediction, Rhodes. 83% of you think that EXO is going to take this one, and after the first round, might be some doubters in that party, I feel.
Maybe, but it was just the first round of Control. It's one of the beautiful things about playing a best of 3 on this map is that you still have a second chance. And so that's what Ex-Oblivion are going to try to take advantage of.
Oh,
but
no,
a huge
gets away with that! He sends Slay off the side of the map! It's a good pick, but Fuki makes it all for naught by finding 2. Back onto one of their comfort picks, the McCree, to try and stare down Greffen.
The Fuki flank, as we like to call it, where Fuki is able to take these high grounds, these off angles, and really put some pressure onto the enemy team. And so you'll already see that Fuki is trying to stare down Greffen, goes into the face of a Diva, but look who's right there to be able to support them. It's Smex, the touted Diva in Europe.
And that's huge, able to shut down the push from KSA, convert it into a kill as well. 6v5 advantage on the point for the main fight. They're about to turn into a 6v4. Shatter finds the back line of EXO. It's huge from Lolsish. Follows up with a fire strike to take out Dollar, and Smex gets demeched. Will stay behind the shield. Fuki, look at the flank. He's already behind them, and Greffen doesn't know where to look. Lolsish with the double fire strike through the Amp Matrix to save the day. Stabilize for the new Kings, and they will keep the momentum going by getting the first cap.
First cap, and that was almost 2 minutes of play right there that we really got a chance to see. Nobody able to take control of the point until the new Kings were able to do just that. Amplification Matrix and the Earthshatter, the only tools used for the new Kings to be able to get that capture. And now they can continue to take this high ground to really set up Greffen for a Deadeye to zone off the aggression that Exoblivione is going to be coming back with.
Keep the high ground presence for the time being. I want to see what Backbone does with the Death Blossom. Has that as an option for them. Gets into the middle of the fight. There's the bomb. Might get him off the high ground here. Meteor Strike to dodge out the damage and reposition. Goes straight on top of Fuki and Slay. The rollout's there. The uppercut's enough to take out the McCree. The Immortality Field came out a fraction too late from Slay to be able to save the day. And the new Kings kill the Exo push before it happens. They've taken away the high ground, though, so they have some territorial advantage. It's about conversion, though, Rose. Can they actually do something with this when they're missing their McCree?
The McCree is such a huge part of the composition, but Greffen's able to get back in just the nick of time.
Oh, great eat from Smex there. There was a couple of members from EXO on their backs that would have fallen prey to the Deadeye. Fuki's able to answer back, takes out KSA. That's 2 missing for the new Kings right now. As Fuki finds a third onto Lolsish. Greffen unable to find the value on the McCree. There's not the setup in place until he converts a kill onto White Noise. It's the window as well, but there's nothing to do. I feel as though that Death Blossom is over-ambitious from Backbone, will get punished. And we're in one-fight territory now for the new Kings. But it's all gonna go from a boil to a gentle simmer for the time being.
I was wondering about this. I think Backbone popping the ultimate there was a big sign that they were going to be swapping back over to the Doomfist. Psycho has been putting a lot of pressure onto Exoblivione, and that's what I was talking about before, in the fact that New Kings have struggled against this particular composition. But that's where Exoblivione can thrive right now. And even though Backbone, they have had 5,500 damage done with the Reaper, this Doomfist is where it's at.
The pick potential is just undeniable from the Pugilist. Slay and the rest of EXO will hold the position. They will have another attempt. Not a clean one if they lose this fight. It's Fuki. Not taking the widest of flanks, but enough to get in the range of Psycho. Greffen's able to take out Backbone. He had the automatic aim, if you will, to deal with that one. Not relying on the manual. They'll rotate around the central pillar. Greffen will find White Noise again. They're going to D-Mech, so no tank line for EXO. Surely they have to concede the point here. I don't think they're going to be able to stabilize. They'll milk it for the percentage, but it's all about trying to get a clean reset for this final fight.
Ooh, and take a look at this Backbone showing yet another flexible hero in their pool, and that's going to be the Sombra. If you could get a key hack onto the front line, then that enables White Noise and Smex to go in and dismantle it. So I'm looking at Backbone right now, not necessarily to be able to get an EMP online, but to be able to hack a key target.
Takes out Dredro. The Meteor Strike's going to land on the back line. It's Psycho and Greffen to clean house. The back cap came in just in time from Smex. Sombra will go ahead and get the hack. Self-destruct over the top. Catches out Psycho. Smex is the last bastion for EXO on this point right now, because Backbone can't stay there very long. Buys enough time for reinforcements to come in. Keeps the overtime push alive. We have got Wrecking Ball on point. Psycho making the switch over to Soldier to sprint back to the point as well. Backbone may not be able to get this EMP online, but if the fight goes on long enough for that to happen, I can see a world where EXO get the flip.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that, but I think that the kills are coming in too fast for the new Kings right now, especially as Greffen goes up and...
The Bounce House was able to get them the kills. The new Kings shut it down before the EMP goes online, and they take the first map.
take the first map of Oasis, and that was Exoblivione's map pick. A 100% win rate on this map for EXO, especially when it is the first map of the series. But New Kings, they're coming back with a vengeance. They seem to have worked out their issues yesterday with dealing with the Doomfist composition from Shu's Money crew, who sent them down into the lower bracket. And New Kings, they want that rematch.
Looking at what was actually brought out there at the end, Rose, the Doomfist mirror, it was working out okay for them. You actually saw EXO try and get the flexibility from their damage lineup. We saw the Sombra come out there at the end, but I felt like if you were going to make that switch, I feel like you made it too late into the game. You didn't even manage to have enough time to get that EMP online, which is really one of the strongest assets about the Sombra pick, because especially on Oasis, most of the fight is kept on the central point. It's quite a bit of distance away from health packs, so I don't really think they're in contention from the hacks, right?
Yeah, it's not going to be about the health packs, and it's definitely not about the EMP when you switch over to the Sombra as a last-minute pick. It's all about being able to hack a key target and really enable your team to get in and clean up the fight as quickly as possible. Maybe in this situation, Exoblivione was recognizing that the Doomfist just wasn't quite working out for them as much as they needed it to, and especially in the last couple of seconds where Exoblivione had only one more attempt. Sometimes you do go for a little bit of the risk it for the biscuit style of game plan so that you can come back and take back control of the point.
That was a very English turn of phrase. I don't think I've ever heard an American opt into the risk it for the biscuit phrase. I
love that phrase.
You haven't picked it up from me, though, because I don't think I've ever said that in your presence. So that raises a bunch of questions. We got an answer to one of them, though. The next map coming up. Let's get that on your screens right now. You can see that we're heading over to Route 66. This is a map we saw yesterday as well in that series against British Hurricane that caused some problems, I believe.
It did cause some problems. We also saw the double shield come out, which was really interesting to see, just given how brawl and rush heavy the European region has been. But this is another comfort pick for Exoblivione. They have 2 wins on this map from this tournament alone. So you know that Exoblivione, when they are in the loser's seat, they're in the driver's seat now for the map picks, they can pick another map that is supposed to be comfortable for them. But it went in the way of the New Kings last time. What's going to happen for this map this time around?
I've got absolutely zero idea, Rose, as the New Kings will go on the attack first. So we know there's going to be a setup from EXO. I wonder what they roll out with. I imagine we will probably see the Hangzhou come out again. We saw a lot of that yesterday, Hangzhou being an option, and it proved quite lethal in those matches. So I imagine we're going to see more of it. I think we probably will shy away from the double shield. I feel as though both these teams are probably going to stick with the brawl flavor we've been seeing so far.
I think the brawl just is such a comfortable composition for all the teams that are in Europe right now. But I love that you brought up the Hangzhou pick, because that is a pick that we have seen come out from British Hurricane before. We've seen it come out a little bit from Exoblivione, but we've definitely seen it come out from the Houston Outlaws. And one of the reasons why Hangzhou ends up being such a valuable pick on maps that have a lot more verticality is because of the fact that you can take advantage of that with wall climb, get yourself into an off angle, and it makes it really difficult for the diva on the other team to figure out exactly where they want to go. Are they going to go after the Hangzhou that's on the high ground? Are they going to go after maybe the Batiste that might be on the flank? There's a lot of different options that kind of come into the play here, and it all comes down to the off-tank decisions that are made on the other team.
Well, we're booting into the map, getting closer and closer to that match point scenario. New Kings with the early lead against EXO, and EXO, this is their territory. They need to show up in the lower bracket run. It's what they're known for over here in Europe, Rose. So to have a disappointing end when supposedly the raid boss has been removed altogether, the old king has been removed from his throne, all to play for. So I want to see them come back into this series and not fall to the wayside to a 3-0 New Kings scoreline, because that is on the cards right now. It was a very close Oasis. We'll get to learn more about these teams and the expectations of the series after we get to see a little bit of Route 66.
Exoblivione had an impressive lower bracket run in last month's season of Contenders. They got knocked down into the lower bracket during round 1 and fought their way through the gauntlet to be able to make it into the grand finals and secure that second place. However, We are seeing the double shield now coming out from Ex-Oblivione's defense. They have been able to flex onto this before, and one of the reasons why I feel like this composition works out so well for them is not only because they're on the defense and they can buy some time playing up above Big Earls, but you also have the ability to go on flanks with Smex playing the Sigma with Fuki, who is playing their star role hero in that Ashe.
Another great pick there, and I want to see Greffin match him on the Ashe at some point, because we know Greffin's talented on that pick. We'll hold on the payload for the time being. Smex taking the off angle away from Big Earls. Dredro may want to jump up there and force a fight by pushing them off of the high ground. You also see the silhouettes of turrets on the flank to try and protect Smex from getting charged on the ramp. The Psycho will get in position on top of the team. Goes for the hack. He's able to find a target on Fuki. No coach gun to disengage. The rest of the team is there to catch them. The New Kings will keep the payload in motion. Greffin is snuck behind Exo. Going for a target straight on top of Fuki. The healing is there. They cannot survive as Greffin will tear through the long-range sniper that is Ashe. Moving himself around to the point for the time being, and Exo now have to fight this with a Symmetra, which may not be able to output the damage on such a mobile team that won't be jumping into the fight. White Noise is feeling the hurt. Greffin shreds through another. The team's setting him up. He's going to knock them all down, and this keeps on going. The payload is so close to getting on that point A, but the Flux and the Snipe out of the sky finds Psycho. Dredro will be followed up on as well. They just need to take out Smex. They might be able to push it further, but the stabilization comes in for Exo off the back of the barrier. And they will burn more time from the New Kings time bank.
I really thought that engagement was going to go the way of the New Kings, especially when they were able to get first picks within that fight. But Ex-Oblivione, the way that they played that was flawless. Even though we saw White Noise go down, even though the Orisa was taken off of the field, they were able to stabilize here with the Gravitic Flux coming out from Smex and the Amplification Matrix and Immortality Fields that we were seeing coming out from Slay. So we got to be careful though. Psycho is going to be in the backline looking for a way to enable the team to dive.
Don't even need the dive right now as they're just letting Exo-Raph do all the work with the Coalescence. The beat followed up from Dredro, so that's double support ult committed from New Kings. They're fighting against Dollar's rally, and Lolsish needs to create some space. He's under the cosh right now. The New Kings lose 2 members on this push. Backbone's able to get the damage out, but it's Bobbert on the field from Fuki. Take out the final 2. 1 minute 20 on the clock, and Exo is still holding strong on their map pick.
Usually you'd see the dive be able to deal with the double shield coming out from Ex-Oblivione because you do have some stable heroes that you can just dive onto, and especially if Psycho on the Sombra is able to get a quick hack, then that's usually the go button to signal that the dive should execute on the New Kings. However, Ex-Oblivione, they've got the Symmetra, and so they're able to use the teleporter to just quickly pivot away and really micro-position themselves in this meta.
Saw it exactly there. The EMP comes in. This is the fight the New Kings need to win. They've layered it with the Death Blossom as well. Greffin will be nipping at the ankles of those hiding on top of Big Earls. Ulsis jumps in under a lot of pressure right now. 250 HP, but they cleared enough space. They took enough names, and the New Kings march on to point B.
What a great EMP Death Blossom combo coming out from the New King. Psycho able to get into a good position to hack up several members of Ex-Oblivione, and even be finding so much value that Backbone has decided to flex onto the same hero as Psycho. So going to be going to that Sombra to be able to enable some of the teammates that they have on Ex-Oblivione to be able to get those quick hacks and remove the mobility from the tank line of the New Kings. That's been the key problem so far, which is the front line versus the front line here.
Window committed by Slay. The team's happy to hide in the saloon for the time being. Wait for the cooldowns to emerge and then get this payload back in motion. Smex holding on to the Flux. I imagine he's going to throw that into the mix. Second, he tries to engage, but if he's hacked up, he can't get it out. The Immortality Field will stabilize him, but oh, Greffin and Lolsish are there to start playing cleanup. 3 members down for Exo. Backbone finds 1 kill on the Chaos. Bob will replenish the numbers of Exo. They try to keep the contestation on this point alive. Going on the hunt for the Sombra, takes them out. The New Kings are going to keep on rolling through this one. Double tank ultimate on the next engagement. I'm uncertain if they're going to commit for the hold. I think they've got enough time to go for this one, Rose.
Oh, it looks like they're going to try to come out quickly, but the body block comes
Backbone,
through.
but they're in time.
Oh, Backbone makes it!
Snuck in behind him, gets the overtime in contest. And they will let that beat come out. They threw in the bomb as well, but Griffin uses those Hellfire shotguns. There's no one standing up against this Reaper pick. It's so powerful for the new Kings. They're forcing EXO to run into them, and he just deals with them the second they get in his face.
Well, the other thing about this, too, is that New Kings are obliterating the backline of Exoblivione. So once the healing is off the table, everyone else is quick pickings. So New Kings, their target priority is very, very crucial here. And I love what they're doing, making sure that they're going after the flankers that are setting up the crossfire on Exoblivione and removing them from the fight entirely. Slay has gone down too many times in these fights.
The hack on the Smex, EMP's available. Gets into the middle of the fight, finds the tank line. Traded back on the free, it's larger for Exoblivione. Griffin will come in with a Death Blossom for a free K. And will swing it back in the favor of the new Kings as he's just dominating the kill feed. Give him the sixth one, let him get the team kill. But KSA steals it in name. The home stretch for the new Kings on EXO's map pick. They are so close to making the completion here, Rose.
But I wonder how they're going to fare now that their mobility is going to be stunted as that payload moves ever closer. This is where the Orisa can get set up a little bit better. But KSA does have the bomb. You could just go in and throw that parallel to the ground and create a lot of space here for the tanks to move in.
A static shield that's set up. White Noise can't reposition it on the Orisa. So he weaves it in after a cooldown. It's enough to take out the Immortality field. Volsys going to be the recipient of theirs as Psycho finds the main tank. EXO-Wrath follows up on the Fuki. The Baptistes are lighting up each other's teams for the time being. Moon boots over the top. KSA is on the hunt. He has to pivot around to Backbone's micro pistol. Self-destruct gets stuck in the high ground as EXO-Wrath will shut down Slay, abusing one of his power picks on the Baptiste to great effect for his team. But now he's hacked. There's not many options for him. Sish and Griffin don't have the mobility available to dodge out the damage as the beat comes out from the new Kings to keep him in the fight. It's Psycho assassinating EXO as they emerge from their spawn room. 45 seconds remaining. Charged up for another. Connects with Slay. Hits Dollar. He's taken out everyone that's available as an option for EXO for this contest. Now Fuki will snap back out of the spawn room. He doesn't need to go on a flank. He stays in the front and center until Lolsish heads down to shut him off the map. And the new Kings are forced away with 25 seconds remaining. They have time for one more contest, Rose. But they don't have the options. They just have the Meteor Strike online and potentially the Pulse Bomb.
And look at this, though. We're going to be seeing the new Kings switch up their composition as a last Hail Mary to be able to finish out this third objective of Route 66. But Slay going to be able to zone off a lot of members with that amplification matrix, but we'll see KSA sneak in there just to lose the mech.
D-Mech taken out. Fuki finds two. Backbone looking for the third. He's got eyes on Griffin. The DM sucks up the damage. The Mega given, but no one touches. And EXO are able to stop the push from the new Kings, and they will have to match it on their offense.
Basically, Exoblivione, in order to tie up this series, will have to complete the map. That might be tough to do depending on what New Kings decide to do on the defense. We'll be able to see that shortly. But Exoblivione there, they were able to hold their own finally when they had that respawn advantage. But things will be different now as we switch sides.
Do they bring out the double shield of their own? Do we see the double shield come out from New Kings on the defense? I know Lolsish is very adverse to playing the Orisa. He's more likely to flex onto something like the Wrecking Ball. Okay, New Kings, bring in a little bit of chaotic energy to this fight. This is not a comp I expected to see today being rolled out with, but it's going to make EXO have to keep their heads on a swivel. There is so much mobility and damage potential coming out from this team. They could just combo down EXO if they're not careful.
If you wanted to see the Grethin Ash, Trid, you're getting the Grethin Ash.
Ooh, okay.
So that's exciting to be able to see the mirrored potential from Grethin versus Fuki. But the biggest key difference here is in the support lineup that we're seeing. Dredro is going to play the Mercy. And that can help to damage boost the Ashe and just get some heavy pick potential when entering into the fray. Now, we will see that Dynamite already tells Fuki maybe not to play the Ashe here and instead go for the McCree to be able to have that beautiful zoning potential with the Deadeyes, especially on the attacking side.
One thing to note with Griffin as well, and you touched on the damage boost that comes out from the Mercy. If Volstich goes in with a pile driver, gets to somebody above the Immortality field with the slam, and Griffin hits him with a body shot that's amplified, I think the combo damage is enough to just take someone straight off the map. Backbone will find Exo-Wrath with the first kill of this round. There's the Virtue with the Mercy, bringing Exo-Wrath back into the field. Backbone again. Oh, we get to see Backbone Hangzhou, and what a time to bring it out. KSA needs to be careful. Will be the next target, but Smex beats him to the punch. Off tank. Going to take out the opposing Zarya as Griffin will find one kill on the return. Shut down Backbone's reign of terror, but look at the progress the car has already made. We're on the home stretch with less than a minute burn.
Backbone bringing out the Hangzhou here really plays beautifully on this map. We talked about how you can bring it out on maps that do offer verticality. You've got big earls to play around. You've got the canyons on this map too. That's going to be really helpful to have this Hangzhou pop off.
There's the slam, but the barrier came out from Smex there to negate the damage that may have come out from Griffin. It allows Exo to go on a counterattack with Backbone over the top to go on the hunt. The pockets onto Griffin. The healing might come in, but a headshot should seal the deal, and that's what Backbone's going to find as they take out the rest of the New Kings, and point A is now Exo's.
Backbone has been able to stand out a lot as a DPS player in previous matches for Contenders, but they're doing the same now. Here's another reason why I really like the Hangzhou. You can use those Sonic Arrows to get vision onto the field that is in front of you to be able to support your team with callouts from where the enemy team is coming from. You also have the Storm Arrows, which not super impressive with shield mitigation, as you don't actually see a shield on the side of the New Kings for their composition, but you can see going toe-to-toe with Griffin, even with the Mercy Pocket, they were able to get in a lot of damage with just body shots alone.
Lols is stopped in his tracks there by the pull. And Fuki's able to follow up with the damage. 2 members down for the New Kings. They're going to go for a full reset here. And when they emerge from those rat holes, Rose, they're going to walk into the Dragon Strike of Backbone. That Sonic Arrow is going to scout out the path, and he's going to drop that ultimate and make them blow so many resources on the entry.
Exactly, especially because you don't have an immortality field because you're not playing the Batiste. You just have to get out of the way, and that's not always an effective strategy.
Giving the nano boost over to Lolsish. They found the first pick onto Slay. They're taking out the damage amplifier as well. The bongo is off. Backbone finds 1 kill. Pulse bomb onto Smex. Shuts him down as well. Wasn't able to find the combo we were looking for as Psycho bobs and weaves to take out the tank line. They're on the hunt for Backbone as well. May force out the change here before that Dragon Strike even comes into play. But there's a lot of ultimates committed in this comp, Rose. I don't think EXO are going to go for the switch yet.
No, you don't even have to here, right? Because of how many ultimates you got out of the New Kings, you can expect an eco push out of them, which means that they might not have the resources necessary to be able to deal with the ultimates that you do have online. So Ex Oblivione can be comfortable here to be able to just go in with the ultimates that they have at their disposal and try to see what they can get done. But it's going to be very difficult with the long-range, mid-range damage that New Kings do have available to be able to make it unscathed.
They don't know Lolsish is there. Oh, no, now they do. Now they definitely know Lolsish is there. Rolling away to safety. Scatters like the rat he is. Zexo emerge out of the tunnels. Look to get some positional control on top of the garage. High Noon held. Griffin takes out Slay. Fuki's protected behind the barrier, but no one's going to peek from the New Kings. They can roll out afterwards and get back into the fight. Griffin, revived by the Mercy. Self-destruct up into the sky. Finds Fuki. Takes him off the field. The Dynamite removes the second damage dealer for Exo. The New Kings can burn more this time bank if they can find Griffin. Hang on a minute. Lolsish took out Smex as well. They need to deal with Dollar. That's it. They're all getting removed now as Griffin gets closer to Bob, the 7th member for the New Kings.
So usually when you see the rush composition, you do have so much more healing than what is available to you when you do play the Brig. You get shields instead, which can be helpful to be able to mitigate some of this damage, but that's where the dynamite from Grethen comes into play. You can see how much that dynamite is really impacting this state of play right now, just by the fact you can just shoot it at the feet and a huge stick there.
But that's the pseudo-ultimate immortality field coming into play. And EXO are going to burn a little bit more time just to make sure they have that available on their next push. There's the Dragon Strike. Clears some space for EXO as they will roll out. Nice slam in the middle. Right on top of Backbone. Crunches him. There's nothing left. A splatter on the floor as New Kings hold on and take EXO to a sub 1 minute time bank. EXO have hard committed to this composition the entire offensive run. They're sitting on the bongo for white noise, double support ultimate, but you can see some changes coming in as Smex goes over to the Diva. This is their last shot at getting this over the line and denying New Kings the match points.
I kind of wondered too if moving Smex over to the Diva is just to help out with a little bit more of the mobility. You have the defense matrix now to be able to eat up those dynamites that have been super pesky within this fight. So hopefully that's going to help.
Window, as expected, to kick it off. Someone's going to have to touch that payload. I imagine Smex is going to be the guy to do it. Lolsish with the rollout has the minefield available. He crunched Backbone in the last fight. I have more of a difficult time doing it with the CC available. And Smex to help with the clearance. Recall committed. That's one defensive tool not available to Psycho for the time being. Overtime is about to trickle into effect. Dynamite up onto the high ground. We head back to the point. Fuki has to roll away. Doesn't get the dead eye out that he claimed for himself. Slay and Exo Raph, the supports dominating the kill feed for the time being. Smex shuts down the Zenyatta. Backbone opens it up with the Storm Arrow in overtime. Exo have done it, and they deny the remake from KSA. No longer to be stalled out. Point B is claimed. And they do it with 1 minute 30 left on the clock to essentially finish this map and tie up the series.
It'd be really tough to do so. If Exoblivione gets stopped at any point, then it becomes scrappy for the rest of these fights, and we might need to see some switches come out from Exoblivione here. But now that they're set up on the payload, then Orisa becomes so much more powerful. You can have your deployable barrier move with the payload, which ends up helping out your team a lot more than stopping off of it. But you've got to keep that payload moving. There is no room for error here if you're Exoblivione.
Graffin's found Backbone. That's an error already, Rose. The Dynamite will shred through, but look who's in the assist. That's a Discord orb. That's the pocket from the Mercy. That's a team effort to get one pick, shut down the push. EXO respects it and goes for a full reset.
Full reset necessary as there are only 40 seconds left on the clock. And now you do have to play flawlessly. Here comes the amplification matrix to kick things off.
They've caught Lolsish in the middle of the pack. Taking him out. There's still distance to buy enough time for that reinforcement to come in from the spawn room. That's the biggest obstacle for EXO right now. They're fighting against the spawns. That and Greffin's Bob that's about to come online.
And all the other ultimates that New Kings have available. It's just a lot, especially when it comes down to that Transcendence. Sure, you don't have the Immortality Field, but you've got something else that's really, really good there with that Zenyatta Transcendence.
Gonna commit that early into the fight. Overwhelming support difference coming in right now for the healing. Bob's in the middle of the fight. No one touched the payload! Oh god, production! Get the lower third ready! It has been 0 days since a Cloud9. EXO drop the ball. And the New Kings now head over to match points. That's another thing we didn't cue the audience up about, Rose. How many C9s we've been having in Europe right now? Absolutely ludicrous that it keeps happening, especially on the final day.
It hasn't been this bad, though, throughout this tournament. That's why it's been 24 days since the last C9. Now it's been 0 days since the last C9. Come on, Exoblivione, get it together. Oh, no, now New Kings, they're on match point in this first to 3 series. This was not the way this was supposed to go. Oasis should have been Exoblivione's. We also should have seen Rose 66 go the way of Exoblivione. And maybe that fight ends up differently if somebody had been on that cart.
But the fight seemed so close to it as well. It wasn't even like they'd been forced super far away. It was a matter of meters that disrupted that one and ended it for them. yeah, we had ultimates coming in from the new Kings. They had the Transcendence to deal with, that overwhelming healing output that was coming on. The fight definitely was a distraction, but you can't take your eye off the payload like that. Not in the final situation here for the lower bracket. They're going to be kicking themselves over that one. There's nothing else to be said. They broke through the point B hold. They stuck with their composition to the very end. They played it out. They had the plan, and they make the most classic of blunders in Overwatch, stepping off the car in OT. We're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, it's match point in favor of the new Kings, and EXO are going to have to tidy up their game. The new Kings have found themselves in a match point scenario after an unfortunate EXO C9. 24 days without one Rose, and we suddenly end up with one on our final day in the lower bracket final. Some people hate to see it. I think new Kings fans are going to love to see it. Let's find out whether we can have a palate cleanser from that poor experience and move on to our next map. We're, of course, going to go over to Kings Row as our third map in the rotation. This is another EXO choice, and we are going to see, I believe, the new Kings go on the offense first.
What's interesting about this map is that the new Kings have taken a loss on it already, so maybe this is another way that Angeles Valiant can choose a map that might not be in the favor of the new Kings, especially given that they do like to play the Doomfist style of rush. I feel like that is going to lend itself a lot better on a map like Kings Row than what we've seen previously on Route 66.
I wonder, because we raised this question yesterday, and I always, in my head, I go, Kings Row, current meta, May. We're going to be seeing it, right? But both of these both of these teams seem so adverse to playing the Mei. Psycho, I know last month and in some of the matches this series, had a fantastic Mei, standing up to some of the juggernauts of Mei play, like Nico, who's been sitting around in Young and Beautiful. So that's going to be a potent pick that I feel the new Kings can fall back onto. I don't know if we're expecting the same standard of that hero coming out from EXO in this next match.
Well, usually when you play the Rush, it's the Mei and the McCree, right? And when you play the Doomfist flavor of Rush, you typically have the Doomfist fill that Mei slot. So it's not super often that you're going to see Doomfist and Mei get put together, just because of the fact that it's usually the projectile DPS player that's going to be playing that role. But it's entirely possible that we see a little bit more Mei come out if it feels like New Kings or Exoblivione are losing out the mirror matchup when it comes to the Doomfist flavor of the Rush. Exoblivione have been able to pull it out of their back pocket before. We've also seen Psycho on the side of New Kings flex over to that Doomfist as well, as we saw on Oasis, and that worked out really well for them. So I don't know if we're really going to be seeing any Mei, even though it is King's Row.
That's true. We're definitely not going to be seeing the double shield, though. I feel as though that seems to be quite limited to Route 66, and I think the teams want that added mobility. I guess another thing to talk about on King's Row is pathing. You often see teams either go through alley, take the high ground. Some of them want to go straight through hotel and sweep around, play ring around the rosies with their opponents. I wonder if, because they don't have a Mei, they're not really like forced into particular movements. They can play around some of these more sensitive chokes, if you will, and it allows them to be slightly more direct with their approach. I wonder if that allows a team on the defense to sit further back, not have to worry about the flank, maybe abuse the high ground and let someone like Greffen play at range longer with the McCree to try and whittle down some of these crucial resources on the entry.
Yeah, the only problem about not running the Mei is you don't have the wall to be able to block off the Deadeye, the amplification matrix, block off the route of ingress, to be able to force the team into the position that you want them to play. There's a lot of reasons why the Mei ends up being such a powerful pick on a map like King's Row that has a little bit more linearity to it. But with the Doomfist and the McCree, without that Mei being present, we'll be able to do a lot of flanks and be able to get off on their own, especially if you have the help of something like a Diva coming out from Smex or coming out from KSA.
All right, the teams are ready. Match point for New Kings. We're going to be jumping into King's Row to potentially settle it all. And on the line for this matchup, a spot in the grand finals. Loser goes home with the tail between their legs, and they'll have to wait until, I believe, June for their next attempt to get some Overwatch action on the official broadcast. All of these teams have avoided trials. That's the saving grace of their tournament run, Rose. They don't have to go through and contest against a bunch of plucky upstarts. They get to sit in their ivory towers and laugh at the peasants' fight for position. I'm not being very nice today. I've called them rats, and I've called them peasants as well.
Rats and peasants. Oh boy, what are you doing over there in the UK, Trid? What are you experiencing over there? I'm surrounded by rats and peasants.
That's what's happening in the UK. I'll be a little bit kinder to them, I guess. We won't go around to them for too long. Okay, let's see what Daniel Freeze is saying. Yeah,
British Hurricane and Revival both out.
I wouldn't have predicted this. I wouldn't have written this in my script. Has John Spector's influence trickled down into Contenders as well? Unbelievable scenes.
Yeah, oh my gosh, the poor script writers, the plot armor for these teams. But one thing's for certain, Trid, we are creating history here today. British Hurricane out of the running for a grand final spot, given that they placed 4th in this month of Contenders, when previously they have been first for a lot of the seasons and a lot of the tournaments that we saw last year. This is their first non-grand final placement in about a year and a half in official matches and official tournaments.
Exciting times for these teams to have that opportunity to not have to worry about Hurricane and crown a new champion. The second tournament of the year has presented an opportunity to break the cycle of the last. Nice charge in there, but Dollar blows out the eardrums of Lolsish. Missing their Reinhardt. New Kings, they have the spawn room advantage. They will back away and wait for them to respawn.
But all the while New Kings are backing away, you can see the positioning that Exoblivione are taking right above the point. They want to allow New Kings to be able to go through the hotel and then get the drop on them. See where Backbone is heading, right into the window, hoping that somebody goes through hotel.
Playing around, keeping the distance, letting New Kings walk forward into the arena. You hear the rocket punch being charged, but it's a misfire. Won't commit to that one. White Noise pushes Lolsish into the center of the fight. Greffen gets knocked out of the ring with the rocket punch. One pick fights is what we're seeing here, Rose. No one is going too hard. No one is committing apart from Lolsish. There's a huge anti-nade. Oh, gonna hit Smex and Backbone. The damage was enough to clear out the Doomfist. Nano boost over to Psycho, who will use it to get New Kings onto the point. The High Noon will take Psycho out of the sky. Didn't have Lolsish's shield to protect him. He was off onto another building, having a slaughter room in some tiny Overwatch. Now hold on to that shatter. You see the hack going over to members of EXO. They're trying to extend the value from Gref and Sombra. Psycho falls short of the punch, slams in after the uppercut. There's the Meteor Strike to get the D-Mech in the Immortality field. Exo-Raph is the one to pick up the kills, but Dollar will go ahead and shut him down as the New Kings walk on forward. At the choke, they have ults online, and point A is theirs.
New Kings finally able to capture point A after a formidable hold coming out from Exoblivione's defense. A lot of great pathing that we were able to see there, a lot of patient styles of play coming out from Backbone's Doomfist, but Psycho has been able to find just a little bit more value on the Doomfist so far, already able to work up to that Meteor Strike that we just saw come out in that last engagement. Backbone working up towards theirs, but this Sombra has been a real menace in Exoblivione's backline right now. Look how Greffen is just able to follow the team so far, able to find somebody.
Staying behind him, always been detected. They know. Fuki takes out Psycho, so EXO not waiting for that EMP to come into effect. They draw first blood in the fight, but now they're going to be affected. Beat comes out from Dollar, back to save everyone.
Smex eats the grab!
Is going to eat up the grab, shutting down Lolsish as well. A beautiful outcome there for EXO. They pull the trigger early in the fight by getting that pick. Dollar perfectly counters the EMP, and New Kings do not have an answer.
New Kings don't have an answer, but they have one now, which is going to be Greffen going over to the McCree and KSA going back over to the Diva. We are playing a true mirror matchup now, except Exarath will stay on the Ana to be able to utilize this nano boost to hopefully maybe find the Earth Shatter from Lolsish or save a member of the team that really, really needs to be saved.
Exarath, oh my god, he actually peeked that. He nearly fell through the dead eye. Oh, Backbone gets his punch cancelled by the flashbang. They're going to lose their backline. Shatter through the door frame. Oh, that's one dead Fuki as Lolsish claims another. White Noise will do his best to answer back for a kill. The New Kings break the hold of EXO, and they get closer to capping point B in the Streets phase. One more contest for EXO as they sprint out of a further spawn.
Now that the nano boost has been utilized, Exarath will be coming back with the Batiste. And here we have Exoblivione. I think this card's going to move just slow enough that Exarath will be able to come back into the fight and be in range for when the fight actually happens.
Psycho slips through the gap, gets himself stunned again. Backbone's there to shut him down. Have had his number this entire map. Constantly interrupted when they try to go for the engages. One pick, once again, is enough to shut down the New Kings.
I love the way that we're actually getting a chance to see this happen. So let's get a replay of it. So Backbone goes in, gets the punch onto Lolsish as the shield does go down and is able to get the cleanup there as well. So just going after the front line is sometimes all you need to do. You don't need to get fancy with the Doomfist. Sometimes that frontline disruption is plenty to be able to get you the fight win.
Actually just let that McCree shot go between his legs as he jumped over it. Exarath, under pressure. Meteor Strike is the great answer. That should get rid of the Immortality field. Immediate stun, dashes to the safety of his own lamp as another Meteor Strike gets followed up and traded back. Speed is sound. Down the speed, sorry. The Screffen will take out two. There's the Deadeye. There's another kill. And the New Kings continue to break through. They have a sizable timeout to work with. Rose final section will gift them a beautiful 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
And the great thing about being on the attack right now with having the Diva Bomb as well as the Amplification Matrix available is that we will get a chance to see these ultimates used to be able to create some space for this payload to continue forward. Psycho now finally showing off the May, maybe seeing that Backbone is switched over to the Hangzhou. I think that's one way to be able to deal with those sonic arrows as well as the multiple arrows that will be coming out So that's going to help as well, especially versus the Deadeye. Look at that wall being able to block it from Fuki.
Oh, Smex just got barraged by crowd control. And it's an easy pick up there for Lolsis to finish it off. You're missing one of your tanks and you have to contest a corner fight. Forces out the window from Slay to attempt to buy time for Smex to get back on the board and help them play around the terrain. They're going to go in with the bomb here. Beat dropped to give him that extra HP, but Fuki will still find a way to take out Greffen. Holding on the high ground as KSA will drop into the fight, showing his back to the enemy to try and expunge some of the damage. Soak it up. Backbone takes Lolsish down. Sitting on that Dragon Strike as Psycho will get taken out by Dollar. And they push the New Kings back to the spawn room. Backbone wants more though. He hits the Storm Arrow and takes out Exoraf on the exit.
Amazing stuff coming out from Backbone's Hangzhou, especially in the third section of the map of King's Row, being able to use the verticality to find those off angles, and that's where it gets tough for KSA. KSA now needs to make a choice. Do you help out the front line? Do you go after the Hangzhou that is sitting on the high ground? Do you try to force them off to be able to have to find a worse position? But look at that! There's so many members of Exoblivione that are protecting Backbone right now to be able to pop off on this Hangzhou.
He did try to go for the high ground, Rose, like you predicted. They immediately got shut down from it. Dragon Strike will keep Slay and Exoraf separated firmly if the Shadow gets committed into the shield. KSA gets demech, but we've lost that white noise. Fuki finds Drijo, who will not have the beat available, but they'll be sprinting out of spawn for the next engagement to deliver that one beautifully. It's Fuki and Slay who shut down another Exo push. Deadeye available, Bomb available for the entry. They can split the attention of white noise here and create an opening for one of those two critical ultimates to land.
10 seconds left remaining. New Kings want to finish out the map here and try to give themselves a better advantage moving into the second round of play.
There's a Blizzard Eat! It's the second time this map finds the crucial eat! New Kings find two despite the fact Bomb makes them scatter, but they will reform in time for the contest. Smex being knocked away, D-Mex taken out as KSA and Greffen dominate the kill feed. Drijo sprints back to the point, unable to find any environmentals. And the spawn advantage doesn't mean a lot if you get fragged out faster than you can be delivered. The Shadow from Lolsis puts them on their backs. And that's going to be the New Kings getting a completion. 0 seconds in the time bank. Does open up potential for another round of EXO and potentially avoiding a draw scenario.
Exoblivione have to finish the map, and it doesn't really matter if there's any time in the bank, given that New Kings did finish King's Row in overtime, capturing all 3 objectives. But now it's Exoblivione's turn up to bat here on the attack. I'm expecting more of the Doomfist rush coming out from Exoblivione. But New Kings, they might be able to match that. They might even be able to bring out the May here. Let's see what happens as we assemble our heroes and that countdown ticks down. Contenders 2021, here we go. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. We are on a match point between New Kings and Exoblivione, and Exoblivione here need to finish out this map.
If they don't, it's the end of their tournament run. New Kings will enter the throne room to stare down Shu's Money Crew in the final round of Contenders Europe musical chairs. One chair remaining, 2 competitors standing. That's where it gets brutal. That's where hands get thrown.
Yeah.
That's where people get shoved on the floor.
Shoved off the seat.
Yeah. Damn, I was a smaller child. I never stood a chance.
I don't either, even now.
Don't bully us, please. Please, let us have our chairs. If we sit there firmly, we deserve to stay there. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that in Overwatch. Shu's Money Crew were there first, but they don't get it by that right. They will be challenged by whoever wins this series. And EXO, they want to be the challengers. Go through hotel for the time being. Fuki is on the Reaper. EXO does not have a lot of range to play with. They need to get down and dirty in this mirror matchup.
Take a look at that. Reaper going ahead and just fading away here as Exoblivione now is hit the go button. They're going to go in and try to get some of this action.
Even on the Reaper, Fuki goes for the flank, takes out Psycho, drops down onto the New Kings, and with the help of his team, able to demolish them on point A and get this payload in motion.
Wow, that was a really quick take here. They're going to have to deal with KSA that's just going ahead and try to buy as much time as possible off of this clock, but this is going to be a sizable time bank moving into point B of King's Row. Fuki, look at those stats right there. 7,600 damage done in this map alone, playing a multitude of different heroes here, with the McCree and the Reaper being their main choices.
Fuki will scare away KSA. Doesn't want them taking high ground control. White Noise has a hammer to deliver straight to the New Kings. But look at the stack off to the side here by Griffin and Psycho. Charge up the punch. Shatter gets dropped down onto two members of the New Kings, and White Noise is able to convert it into the pin onto Lolsish. B comes out to stabilize. The EXO did not want to lose the fight after the commitment, so instead of sinking cost, they make sure all the resources are enabled for the dub and try and stretch this time bank further. The New Kings will have options for their next fight.
They could use the bomb and partner that with the Earth Shatter. We haven't seen a whole lot of teams do that yet, especially when Immortality Field is such a big piece of the puzzle that's in play. But the sound barrier from Drijo, New Kings could use this incredibly aggressively to be able to get into the fight and sustain themselves for a couple more turns of the brawl.
There was no McCree to help them, so Psycho gets the backline for free, essentially. It only took the sound wave from Drijo to knock them out. Psycho was able to finish off everything there by taking out Slay and Fuki. You lose your big damage. You lose your big heal. The rest of the House of Cards is going to crumble under the weight of this aggression. And they get a cheeky little stall on Smex off the back end of this one to really rub salt in the wounds.
Oh, the body block. Smex is just trying to make it to reset, okay? I don't think he's even going to make it there. He might not.
Swing.
Yeah, that's going to be a home run there for Lulsish and the New Kings, being able to buy so much time off the clock. Exoblivione entered into point B with a 5-minute time bank. It's already down to 3 minutes and 30 seconds. But now the shoe is on the other foot a little bit. We do have the Diva Bomb available from Smex as well as the Earth Shatter, but it's the Death Blossoms that I'm keeping an eye on, Trid, because they're online for both teams. Brethen's already in a beatable position to use theirs.
They haven't checked the corner. They haven't checked the corner. In the middle of the fight, the Death Blossom gets popped, and Dollar taken out off the back end of that one. That's what we like to see. A one-fight ultimate, and Smex has been demech'd once more. Oh, no.
Yeah, take a look at that. The Immortality Field got put down, but everybody scattered away from it, which made that Death Blossom ever more impactful, as it does push away the people that are closer to you. But Reaper, super powerful in this series so far. I love that we're able to bring up a tweet about it. But, you know, this is where Fuki now has a little bit more of the onus. Death Blossom was not popped by Exoblivione in that last engagement. So now that we can see Fuki be able to get into a position to use it here, but they gotta deal with Psycho maybe. Look, if they, oh no, they're not gonna continue through the high ground.
No, he's waiting to hold down that line. Backbone dives into there. Fuki heads to the back line to stop the dive. He scatters the team with the Death Blossom, but they're not gonna fall down to it. Slay opens it up onto EXO with a headshot burst as Backbone takes out Psycho. I love what EXO did there. They played soft, they let the New Kings dive into them, and they used resources to fight them on their territory. But the beats are going to get traded out here. They don't want to give up point B just yet, as they'll re-engage. Lolsish needs some healing, needs some space. It's not going to be given as KSA Bomb will only find the Immortality Field. Backbone charges up a sweet Hail Mary, knocks him into the corner. Death Blossom popped by Griffin. It's going to be dodged out by the Meteor Strike. Slam back down on top to deal some damage, but not a kill. Uppercut onto KSA, who was recently demech'd. And EXO weather the storm of the New Kings, get point B, and they are in a great position to finish this map and give us another round of King's Row.
Do you think it's possible that Exoblivione finished this with more than a minute left in the time bank? They've got 2.5 minutes left.
It's certainly possible, but we know how point C of King's Row is typically gone. We're looking at the corner right now where most of the time bank is burned. You play that incorrectly, that time bank becomes 0.
That's true.
All right, so they're going to pincer, move around. Death Blossom comes in, grabs the Immortality Field. The Shadows are shut it down early, and Fuki will be taken out by Exo-Wrath, the only victim of the fight, until KSA will follow up with one onto Slay. White Noise has a shatter of their own online. Greffen with the Reaper still on the field, shreds through Smex. And that's going to be an EXO reset. 2 minutes remaining. A critical ultimate burned, but plenty more on the cards for EXO. Rose, I think it's unlikely now that this team will finish with over a minute remaining. If they complete, we're going to get another round.
Yeah, we are going to get another round here if Exoblivion are able to complete, and it does look like we are approaching that 1 minute marker very, very soon here, so we should be able to see both teams get a chance.
Oh, Greffen gets knocked up. Absolutely dismantled. Now you're missing the Reaper, but you need more than that to win the fight. As Psycho Hunters back with one onto Slay, trades his life. It's going to be another charge from Lolsish to take out Fuki. They boxed EXO in this corner. There's nowhere for them to go. So Lolsish gets the cleave damage. The D-Mech on the Smex sends him flying into the abyss. And it's not a question anymore, Rose, of whether EXO can finish with a timeback above 1 minute 30.
Right.
The question is now, can they finish at all?
New Kings are making it very difficult for Exoblivione to approach this cart. You've got Psycho waiting in the rafters. You've got Greffen that's been putting so much pressure onto the front line of White Noise and Smex. And then you've got Exarath with the amplification matrix that's going to amplify all the damage incoming here. This is going to be a big photo finish here if it is going to be a finish for Exoblivione.
Meteor Strike dropped up to get the high ground straight on top of Dredro. He needs emergency healing. Life support given over as Psycho will head to the spawn room. Not a far distance to travel. That's a problem that EXO are going to have to overcome. Damage blocked out there by the shield. Greffen has a Death Blossom. This is match point for the New Kings. They win the fight. They shut down the push. They are going to the grand finals. And he'll sneak around, slow down the pace, get behind him, Slays low, a headshot immediately into the Death Blossom! You wanted a superstar! Island has produced one! Greffen shows up huge for his team and may have secured New Kings a spot in the grand finals!
Vex can't make it there. That's it, New Kings, they take it! They're going back to the grand finals to get the rematch versus Shoes Money Crew.
The outcome that was probably expected from SMC to have their opponents in the grand final. The New Kings definitely did not have the best of showings in their matchup against SMC yesterday, but they've been presented an opportunity to right that wrong and declare themselves not only New Kings in name, but also by nature.
Such an exciting time to be watching European Contenders. We are going to have a brand new champion this season, this tournament, this month. It all comes down to what's coming up next. Let's go ahead and bring up that bracket for you to show you everything, all of the action from this month of Contenders Europe. It's coming down to the grand finals between Shoes Money Crew and New Kings in a 1-to-4 series.
The only 1-to-4 series we get in a Contenders bracket is that grand final. So it's a change up for these teams. They're going to have a test of endurance, particularly for the New Kings. They don't have a lot of time to reset, Rose. We have to speak to one of the players, have a short break, and then we come back to the grand finals itself. So they only have about 15 minutes before they're jumping into what could be 7-8 maps of Overwatch if it goes the distance. So really have to make sure the mental game is strong. We are going to go to a quick break. When we come back, we'll have that interview with someone from the New Kings. The New Kings have found themselves a spot in the grand finals against SMC. There's one little obstacle in the way before they get there, though. It's an interview with us. I know how torturous for them, but we've grabbed Griffin away from his team to have a quick chat about that performance. And we'd be remiss if we didn't bring up the events of yesterday, seeing as it's what brought you into this position. Even by SMC's admission, they don't think they were playing against the full strength New Kings. What's different from yesterday than what's happening today, Griffin? I wonder if you could tell me about any changes that have been put into place.
So KS's internet for one, yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Second is, yesterday, I watched the replays a lot last night. Me and Foster spent a lot of time looking at them. It was just very strange. Like, we never played our game. We're always backfooting. It was just not New Kings. It's not the team we know ourselves to be. We didn't play like we should have. And I think a lot of that was probably due to the confusion of playing into Doom comps. Because the issue's not, down to himself, the Doom player. It's more just our thought process and how to play around the Doom. And I think we just lacked a few key things we needed yesterday, especially. So the whole series was very poorly played from our part, but I think today especially showed it. We're a lot more confident playing into Doom. We know our win conditions a lot better, and we know how to punish and win fights a lot easier now.
Yeah, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about that, because especially you, Grethen, you were able to, first of all, make a huge hero play at the very end of the series. Can you talk me through what the comms were kind of like in that final moment?
So I think they had the bomb. We were worried about the bomb the whole fight, and I think Psycho died. I think it was Psycho. My brain is fried. But yeah, so someone died and we were calling to kite, and we saw the bomb, and I was just trying to find an opportunity to get the blossom in, and I managed to get a TP top left, and for some reason none of them saw me, so I was just screaming for the team to run in, bait diva on you so I could get the blossom off, and Psycho comes back, gets a diva on him, and gets clean up the backline. So thank you, Psycho.
Yeah, I love it. I love the teamwork that we've been able to see from your team. And I love the versatility that we've been seeing out of the New Kings as well. Grethen, even you were playing the Ashe, you played the McCree, you played the Reaper. You and your team have been touted as one of the most versatile in Europe. Can you talk me through a little bit about, what kind of practice, what kind of preparation you've had to go through in order to be as flexible as you are?
Yeah, so after last season, I was a bit annoyed. It was a very kind of disappointing season, the Contenders last time. And I just thought we have someone like Psycho who's playing May 24/7 when we could have him on heroes like Doom, Tracer, popping off, and us as a team, we're 6 really, really good players. So we tried to just play, comms on maps that are good for them, play as flexible as we can, because we have, me and Psycho both really flexible DPS players. We can play at all the comms, so going into the season, we just tried to play, a lot of comps that we can play on different maps, the dives, the brawls, variations of brawls. Like the Hackfist, for example, is one crazy idea I had to play that comp. And
yeah,
we kept trying them out, said what the win condition was, played them in scrims, and just fixed the small mistakes, and it all added up, and we're pretty good at a lot of comps now. So again, I've Foster and Empress to thank for that, our 2 coaches. They're absolutely amazing. I'm so grateful we have them.
Well, it looks like you've built up quite the arsenal of resources to be able to try and burn in your next fight. SMC are going to be rolling out with the Doomfist flavor. You've said it yourself right now that you're more confident about playing around the Doomfist condition. Do you feel more prepared for today's match? Do you feel like today the New Kings can declare themselves quite literally the New Kings of Europe?
I got some things in my back pocket too if it doesn't work out, but yesterday was a 10%. We're going 110 today. I'm 100% confident we can. I know if we just play our game, do what we know is best, I know we can win. My team knows that too.
I'm going to cut this interview a little bit short then, Griffin. I'm going to let you get back to your team because you've got a lot to prepare for. You've got a grand final still to play tonight. Thank you so much for joining us for a quick interview. I'm looking forward to seeing the New Kings at 110% in that grand final.
Thank you.
All right, well, there we go. Griffin giving us some insight into the team's mentality, what they've worked on, what they prepared for, and also a lot of confidence emanating from this lad just ahead of their grand final performance. We're going to go to a quick break, or more accurately, a slightly longer one. When we come back, we're going to be giving you that grand final. SMC versus the New Kings. We're crowning a new king of Europe. We have had multiple days of action split across 2 weeks for this tournament, Rose, and it's all come down to this final match. A first to 4 map series between Shoes Money Crew and the New Kings. We are absent of British Hurricane. Let's take a look at the journey of this tournament so fast and see exactly how that happened.
Exoblivione knocking out British Hurricane yesterday before being able to move on to face off against the New Kings today in the lower bracket, having their lower bracket run ended by the New Kings. So now Shoes Money Crew making their way basically flawlessly through the upper bracket to the grand finals will be able to face off against the New Kings in a rematch of the century. Winners finals went 3-0 in the way of Shoes Money Crew. But it sounded like from when we talked to Grethen, things might be a little bit different this time around.
Not just when we spoke to Grethen. When we spoke to, God, who was it who we spoke to yesterday? We spoke from, with Johnny yesterday. Even Johnny on SMC acknowledged that that wasn't New Kings. They played against some bizarro weakened form of the New Kings. So yeah, we're expecting it to be a much closer affair when we come round to this first to 4 map series. Let's take a look at that Shoes Money Crew roster to remind everyone who's tuning in for the first time. The organization itself has not been in this position since March 2020. They too fell victim to the British Hurricane dominance. But this is one of the organizations that has been within Contenders Europe for an extremely long amount of time and has not really found themselves in a position where they could be vying for a grand final at all.
Yeah.
Danid, he is no stranger to them. He had his time on that dominant British Hurricane roster, and he's on the cusp. He is 4 map wins away from proving that he can do it without the resources of an academy team, do it without a role-star roster. He's going to do it with Shoes Money Crew. That's what's on the line for that individual when it comes down to this series.
But the other thing about Shoes Money Crew is they have completely changed the landscape of European contenders. You even heard it from Grethen, how difficult that matchup is really going to be versus a Doomfist Rush style composition. And when it comes to Shoes Money Crew, that's one composition that they have nailed down, is that Doomfist style of Rush. And that's all thanks to Danid being touted as one of the best, if not the best Doomfist in all of European contenders.
It's a powerful option for Shoes Money Crew to utilize, and that's exactly what they're doing. As you said, Rose, a meta-defining team when it comes down to Europe. They are the gold standard of this composition, and the New Kings, they've been practicing. They've got their toolbox ready to go. You heard it from Grethen. They are now aware of what they need to do to play around the Doomfist. It wasn't Danid to them. It was just not knowing not knowing the hero, not knowing the style that's forced upon them. They have the solution available for them. That roster on your screen right now, you just saw them play in that series against Exoblivione. Dominate that series 3-0. They now have to find a way to play against the masters of the meta, crack through that composition and sit themselves firmly on the throne.
I think hearing Grethen talk about the confidence that New Kings have now going into this matchup bodes really, really well for them. However, we're getting a do-over as we bring up our very first map of this set. We are going over to Lijiang Tower as our first stop in this grand finals tour. And the last time we saw these two teams duke it out on this map, it was yesterday, where Shoes Money Crew came out on top. So why not pick it again if you are the higher seed in this matchup? That's what Shoes Money Crew is, coming in 3rd in last month's contenders bracket. And New Kings, they came in 5th, 6th place. So they're going to get the map pick. Lijiang Tower is our first stop. And last time we saw this, it was Shoes Money Crew's map to win.
Absolutely. And Lijiang Tower's presented some interesting picks for us as well. The Symmetra has been coming out quite a few times on Command Center. We've seen the Reaper also come out on this map as well. Grethen, the power that pick has in his hands could be utilized here on Lijiang should we go round to Command Center. And hopefully we don't have any mistakes like we had where he teleports into the way of a Deadeye and gets himself immediately killed off by Sauna. So let's try and avoid that one. And you might find yourselves winning Lijiang Tower and putting your best foot forward for the series. It's the double-edged sword of playing the lower bracket final though, Rose. You have already gone through the ringer of a series. That can cause some mental fatigue, but you are going to be significantly more warmed up than your opponent.
Yeah, especially, you know, just getting a chance to play against an incredibly gifted team like Valiant. New Kings, they're certainly warm, they're certainly confident, and I'm really excited to get into the match at hand. This is our grand finals in Europe. Give us your chat predictions. We're going to see what you have to say about who you think is going to take it home. We'll bring it up a little bit later into this map.
Now, Shoes Money Crew, they have a very powerful and loyal fan base that's been rallying behind them for the longest time, even when they've not been finding the success they have been able to achieve recently. Lord knows that they're probably going to sway the poll in their favor. I'm expecting SMC to win the chat vote. I mean, if you look at it on paper as well, that 3-0 win yesterday, it bodes well for Shoes Money Crew. But as we said, we're looking for a different beast of new kings to get into this series. The throne of Europe is on the line, no longer held by British Hurricane. One of these two teams are breaking the streak, breaking the dynasty, and starting to forge one of their own. Let us know your predictions as we roll out onto Command Center, and Griffin may just stick on this Symmetra and try and see if that can be an option to slow down the high mobility of Danet.
It
goes over to the Reaper.
No, I like Reaper here, Trid. I knew this pick was coming out, especially given the fact that Griffin just had that hero play on our last series to finish things off on King's Row.
Doomfists have been traded. Griffin's feeling themselves. Dorna tips the scales back in SMC's favor by taking out KSA. The rest of his team will rotate around to the point. Flashbang doesn't quite go over the shield of Lolsish. We'll be able to withstand more of this damage. Danid dodges out Psycho's punch. We'll go back to the same route. Charging it up. Eyes on. Hits KSA into the rest of his team. Point capture not gone over despite the early skirmishes. The Shoes Money Crew are paying the New Kings respect. They're giving them space, and it allows them to get that first capture. Shatter committed in by Lolsish. It stuns two, but they convert the kill onto Hades first. That man advantage looking good for the New Kings, and they will start to build map percentage.
Look at how fast Lolsish was able to generate that Earth Shatter as well to really tip the scales. Shoes Money Crew, they already blew the amplification matrix. They are coming back with an Earth Shatter of their own. But are they going to be in a position to do that when you know that Psycho is waiting in the wings for you?
Drops down, gets the connection there. The backboard damage takes out Alex's mech. Aggressive beat from the New Kings here. Johnny's about to match them. But Dana goes on top. Nice Wraith form to dodge out the Meteor Strike. Sauna will be able to deal with Psycho. A huge chunk of healing is missing from Shoes Money Crew, so once this shield expires, there's not a lot to play with. Dan had found one. He needs more if they're going to stay alive in this fight. But Alex on the hunt for the Reaper. Griffin needs some healing. They have to trade out KSA's mech for that one, and they use the self-destruct to get back fast.
That's an okay thing to do, especially when you are looking at being down a few players, as we did see some trades come through on both sides of the field. But everybody's back now on the New Kings. They're going strong here, Trade. We're entering closer to that final fight territory. So let's see what we're going to be able to get done here as Deadeyes get traded out.
Psycho immediately dives into Sauna, trying to disrupt that ultimate. The Doomfists have found their picks. They're trading the McCree for a bat, but they haven't done anything to kill the momentum of the New Kings. This is one map after other. This is the fourth map of that first series. The New Kings have not missed a beat.
No, now we are entering into that final fight territory. Lolsish does have the Earth Shatter, be able to just stop Shoes Money Crew from even being able to approach the point if Hades isn't able to get there in time. But look at where Griffin is. Hades can just go out. Look at this.
The dive is beautiful. The DM will buy some more time for the immortality field, but crucial resources expended. They've not even been able to touch the point yet. Griffin's TP'd into the fight. Psycho's found the first. Lolsish takes the second. Danid will shut down the reign of terror coming from the Irishman. They sneak a flip, punishing the aggression of the New Kings, but that's going to go back into their hands just as fast. Danid needs to touch here to get the overtime. Get out just as fast. Meteor Strike will be the tool used here. They got a Tracer coming back onto the field. Window for them to cower behind. The damage is there. Pile driver over the top. Alex goes down. Psycho's dropped, but they blow out the eardrums of Sauna. Back onto the point for the time being. KSA's got the bomb. He can put this in a prime position to disrupt the fight. Hades with the pin. Immortality Field blown. Griffin building towards that ultimate as he grabs another kill, taking out Saab. Hades does not allow the remix. Psycho comes into play. Meteor Strike online. Griffin got it online. Finds 2 again. The third on manual. No more stall. No more delay. And the New Kings take the first round.
Taking the first round of Li Shang and off the back of yet another impressive aggressive play here. These Death Blossoms have been on point for the hit scam player and Griffin. Really feeling themselves in this series so far.
We're moving over to Night Market. Dawn is hovering. The Reaper, and we may see that come out to match. Dabbled in the McCree, dabbled in the Tracer when they had to stall. Maybe you need to match that power. Are they making the meta-defining Shoes Money crew bend the knee to their will?
Kind of looks that way, especially when Sana is going to be trying their hand at the Reaper this time around. And Griffin not actually going to be sticking to that choice. New Kings want to get to the point first and set up those turrets as quickly as possible to stem the mobility on the side of Danid.
I was absolutely wrong, Rose. Everyone's feeling the New Kings right now, and they're feeling themselves. 70% on the chat prediction. A first fight under their bag. And they are rolling down this mountain like a snowball, Rose. They are yet to lose control of an entire match this entire evening. They have rolled over their skill, rolled over the pressure from the first game, and they're able to continue it in the second.
This looks like a completely different New Kings than what we were able to see yesterday. This really does look like the New Kings at 110%. No, maybe 200%. They're on fire right now. This entire team is making it so difficult for Shoes Money crew to even approach.
I love that TP. It just did not pay them dividends, though. They allowed Psycho to have a great starting point to leapfrog their assault. But Danid was able to help shut them down. Sab was the one to get the final blow. The window could not come out here for Sab at a worse time because that barrier just blocks all the damage. New Kings play around it. Lost it off the sidelines! That is rubbing salt in the wounds. They had already won the fight. They wanted to crush their morale as well. The New Kings will have an aggressive beat to play around if the fight comes in for the Shoes Money crew because they do not have any defensive ultimates. Dredro could just pull the trigger on this one and go fast, or they can wait for Shoes Money crew to commit more resources and get a more value fight. There's the bomb. One fight. Greffin's gonna get taken out, or he's gonna take out Danid with the turrets. There's the aggressive beat from Dredro. They committed bomb. A lot of resources blown for the New Kings. And they stick the landing. Shoes Money crew are gonna be fighting this last one in one fight territory.
And they still have that amplification matrix. They still have Psycho's Meteor Strike. There are still things that the New Kings can play around with to have a flawless map score on Lijiang Tower. Flip the script from yesterday.
Teleporting in. Sauna's in the middle. Death Blossom takes out the Immortality Field and Exo-Wrath. Goes on a hunt. For Psycho gets punched against the wall while Dana deals with the front line. Meteor Strike. But the bubble from Alex keeps Sauna in the fight. Stops him from dropping down. The rest of New Kings have crumbled. Finally, killing the momentum. The Shoes Money crew have to fight up against 99% of the New Kings.
Shoes Money crew have to play flawlessly here, but they don't have a whole lot that they can do. Alex's Grav will be online, but we've seen some hungry divas today. Can KSA take a page out of Smex's book and eat up that Grav? That could be huge here. You could also just block it with the Photon Barrier. There's so many different avenues that New Kings can approach this from in order to make sure that they get the flip and they take the win on Lijiang Tower.
A TP allowed them to do a bit of spy checking for Daned. They're paranoid of where this Doomfist is going to come from. Psycho cancels out the punch. They got the shield to split the point. But Daned finds Dredro. Should have been more paranoid. Drops the hammer around the back. The Graviton committed from Alex, but it's Hades to drop despite all of that. Psycho claims Daned. Alex got high energy. Can't convert it. A good environmental attempt, but the rest of his team has crumpled. New Kings They get it back.
Oh,
Alex is sent to an environmental grave. The perfect angle to watch the New Kings claim map number 1.
Map number 1 going the way of New Kings. They are now 4-0 in terms of just the maps they've played today. This is a first to 4 grand final, so New Kings still have to win out 3 more maps, but they're on the right path, Trid. This is an entirely different New Kings than what we saw yesterday during their performance.
They said they had to be conscious of the Doomfist, play around it more. Oftentimes, it looked like their strategy was to just ignore Danid.
Yeah.
Just be mindful of where they're going to come from. Don't let them get caught off guard, but be the aggressor. Take the fight to them. Punish the wait time for Danid to get into the actual action from his flanking angle. And by the time he gets in, you can then focus all of your attention on the Doomfist because you've just been so proactive in these fights.
Yeah, that's exactly the word that I would use to describe New King's playstyle is proactive. You heard it from Grethen that, there were a lot of instances yesterday when New Kings were playing that they really didn't feel like they could execute on their game plan. They were always playing on the back foot. They were always playing reactively. And so being able to take the proactive seat is very, very important, especially when playing against the Doomfist. You hit it right on the head there, where if the Doomfist has to take time in order to set up, that's valuable time the New Kings can take advantage of to get a pick on the front line, take out a support, anybody else that's not Danid.
Let's see what Danid can do on SMC's map choice, Rose. We're heading over to Eichenwalde as our next stop. So this map presents a lot of opportunities for the Doomfist to get into the mix. We see some fantastic rollouts on the points. We see huge amounts of verticality for a giant elbow from the top rope to come into effect. Could be a playground for the Doomfist to roll out on, but we're talking about the flexibility of the New Kings here. They're the ones who are going to try and throw some variety here. What does Eichenwalde open up for them? What's the solution from their toolbox that best fits to solve this problem?
I feel like you could play a little bit of Hangzhou here, actually, just based on the verticality that's offered on point A as well as point B. Hangzhou might be an effective tool that you can be able to use in this particular instance. I think the Reaper works really well on third point if you want to continue to bring the Reaper out. Grethen has been an absolute role star on this particular hero when it comes down to the amount of value that they are finding from the Death Blossom. That's been 2 or 3 player Death Blossoms for the majority of the ults that we've seen out of this particular player. That's a lot of value. So maybe continuing to play a lot of those picks that are advantageous for each of these individual players. That's what I'm expecting out of New Kings, is just to continue to play what they're really, really good at.
I'm just thinking about that, Rose. That's mind-boggling to me. Because look what you're typically running up against. A DM and an immortality field. Those 2 things alone should make Reaper an unviable pick. And Grethen kind of alluded to it. You need a distraction. You need someone to draw either the immortality field or the DM away. Exactly. So Grethen is finding value because of his team, and we'll see the Death Blossoms come out when there's a distraction in effect. So when we see that ultimate come online for Grethen in the next map, pay attention to where his team are and where the Diva goes and where the immortality field gets placed. That will be the biggest indication of Grethen's success if he does decide to roll out on the Reaper.
I agree with you completely. Grethen has been able to find so much value based off of the rest of the team enabling those huge value plays. So we want to continue to see more of that. But on Shu's Money Crew's side of the field, they've got to be more proactive. They've got to be quicker to the actual punch coming out from the Doomfist. I feel like that's been the biggest issue that I've seen so far from Shu's Money Crew, is that both of these teams are playing compositions where they want to be the ones to set the pace of the fight. But New Kings have been able to do that a little bit better, especially based on the fact that they've been able to, capture both control points. Lijiang Tower was a 2-0. Let's see what Shu's Money Crew can do. I already, love a lot of the aspects that we do get a chance to see from Shu's. And that ends up being one of the big adaptations, is the fact that Alex, a huge, valuable off-tank player in European Contenders, showing us a lot of prowess on the Sigma, And then a lot of flexibility when having to pick up the D.Va as well as this Zarya pick that is coming out for Shoes Money Crew. Danon can play a lot more aggressively, knowing that there is that deployable bubble available for them. And that's not something that is an available resource on the side of New Kings as KSA plays the D.Va.
True, but I didn't actually take that into account into that piece about the Death Blossom, because Alex is using the protective barriers. He can only save one person and himself.
Yeah.
Who does he give that over to? Does he give it over to Sauna for the flashbang? Maybe cancel the ultimate early? Is it to make sure that Sab gets the immortality field out? There's a lot riding on Alex's decision making when it comes down to that crucial ultimate.
Yeah, there's a lot of decision making that comes down to playing the off tank in this meta.
We're gonna see a dash in, dash out. There's the lamp. Nothing to save Lolsish, nothing to save Psycho. He needed an ambulance called, but not for him. He's put damage straight in one and sent him to the hospital. Griffin will get taken out by Sauna. That's what we need him to be doing, keeping this Irishman in check, not allowing them to take control of the game, as New Kings have taken control of the point. Psycho again, someone needs to shut him down. Sauna, the safety net, the bandage of Shoes Money Crew right now. They're giving over 52%. I feel like the momentum's gone from this push, though. New Kings are going to slow it down a bit, and Shoes Money Crew are going to get the reinforcements in.
New Kings are just going to come back just as quickly, though, as they do have a bit of a respawn advantage, so they've already captured 2/3 of the pie.
Is anyone going to touch? They have to throw themselves onto the point. That's an incredibly fast grab from Alex. That's going to be rewarded with the damage, with the Dana Doomfist. At 96.4%, Shoes Money Crew back themselves and stop the New Kings push. Now they don't have that critical ultimate online. It becomes a different story as the New Kings start to utilize theirs.
Especially when you've got Dredro's sound barrier active. Dredro has been able to use these very aggressively, perfectly timed to be able to elongate the fight. And that's when New Kings, they're going to be able to get other critical ultimates on the board that they will be able to execute on. So I want to see Dredro go ahead and use this beat aggressively or as a reactionary tool to maybe the Earth Shatter that comes out from Hades if Exarath can't get the immortality field up.
Griffin stabilizes, moves back to the point. Shatter gets dropped, doesn't find anyone. Dana loses his life. Pin Shatter comes round from Lolsish. 1 kill so far. Laps traded. Hades drops as well. The tank line not looking strong for Shoes Money Crew as Psycho takes out the McCree. There's no threat on this back line, so Exo can switch it from healing, switch it to damage. And Sab invites himself a quick trip back to the spawn room.
It's one of the reasons why I love watching Exarath play the Batiste. He knows exactly when to focus on healing the team and when it's the perfect time to just frag out and get those picks. Really helps out the team in the amount of damage that they're able to dish out. So this is exciting stuff. Oh my gosh, take a look at this flank. Psycho's just going to go ahead and get behind the team, maybe get an environmental or just be able to take out Sauna.
They know. They just fired a shot back there. They know.
Yeah, they know.
They're still going to go in. Away from the window. Sab! He had no lamp! He'd already used it earlier when the Reinhardts were dueling. Psycho may have been found out, Rose, but it didn't even matter. The New Kings had that one on lock.
That's the distraction coming into play. The distraction not only works for Grethen's Reaper when the Death Blossom is active, which it is right now, but also to allow Psycho to come in and get a huge opening pick onto the backline of Shoes Money Crew. So you've got to pay attention to what the frontline is doing to create this space.
The grab seems to be the option for them. Will be paying them dividends. Environmental attempt, but you don't want to be going against that on the Lucio, who can just wall ride back up to safety. Shoes Money Crew unfazed by the events of that previous fight. Come back swinging off the back of Alex's grabs, but they cannot rely on Alex having a Graviton online to win fights, because by the time that they get them online, they've lost too much of the map to make it a sustainable tact.
Yeah, it's almost like relying on Sombra EMP every single time it comes online. It's a lot of an all-in situation here, but Danon finally able to secure a first pick for the fight. This should go the way of Shoes.
Takes out a lethal bat as Hades drops the hammer onto one. Griffin gonna commit the Death Blossom to just find Sauna, but Johnny comes in to save the day. Stops it and makes him use it only for 1 kill, which is uncharacteristic for Griffin. Fight will continue, no space traded as the payload is still going to be stuck on this corner for the time being. New Kings roll out fast and they're going to take the fight to the bridge. Just going to move away for now. Danid jumps in, gets the D-Mech. I think that might be over the pit as well, whereas KSA landed to firm ground. Going to be using the window to amplify the damage that comes in and get his mech a little faster. Got the remake secured perfectly, but it's not enough in time to eat the DM from Sauna, who finds both supports of the New Kings. And that's the end of their fight. Psycho opts for the fast respawn. Griffin gets taken out as well. That's a full reset for the New Kings now.
Watch a replay of that Deadeye. Wow, just weaved right in and out of the rest of the bodies that we were seeing coming out from Shu's Money Crew. That was just well timed by Sauna right before the remech happened. And let's take a look at this. New Kings pathing. They just want to go straight to the point as quickly as possible.
This is dangerous. We talked about this yesterday, about the tight corridor with the options available. Nice uppercut attempt there to go for the environmental on Griffin, who's able to reform back to safety. Dan will still hold the corner. He can jump over this pit and find an interesting angle. Psycho gonna do the exact same path from the other side. Lands straight into the flashbang. Dorna deals with him. 30 seconds remaining, Rose. You gotta use it or lose it. And SMC, they are gonna make the New Kings lose it. Dreedro picked up 2 environmental kills on the back end of that. But this is the last fight. They have to sprint back to the point, and they're not going to be a unified unit when they manage to do it.
And Alex has a grab online. This has been a fight stopper for so many fights that Shu's Money Crew has had this critical ultimate online. Shu's Money Crew could just stop the cart right here before it's even able to reach the second objective.
Alex is solo operating, trying to stop Griffin on the flank. Doesn't want to let that path of ingress in. Touches in effect as it will contest. Shadow from Hades finds Lolsish. Punch off the side. He's gone! Danid creates an environmental opportunity, giving the advantage to his team as the beats get traded. Psycho repositions with the Meteor Strike. Goes on a hunt for Sauna. Equalizes to a 5v5, but there's the grab. The fight winner, we call it. Psycho taking matters into his own hands, quite literally, to shut this down. But Alex is still able to exert high energy gameplay. They haven't dealt with the problem. Psycho needs to be careful about the pathing. Shadow from the side. Lolsish gets back to the fight. And what a returning gift for him to deliver. Removing the Zarya energy from the fight as the Symmetra turrets will be in effect for Danid. He's off the Doomfist. And I don't think that's the play. Johnny gets one. Sab gets another. The TP's still up to get the fast reinforcements as the contest is still alive. Griffin wants to sit on this Death Blossom. Dodges out the Earth Shatter and stops some of the aggression coming in here from the back of that Hades Shatter. It's not looking good for the New Kings though, Rose. They can't fight against the spawns. They can't fight against the TP. They can only stagger and get burned out by the damage. They did get it over the bridge, just shy of point B. It's a defendable distance for the New Kings, but Shu's Money Crew planting the flag on their map choice.
Not a far distance for that cart to move, but boy, oh boy, did Shu's Money Crew make it difficult for New Kings to come in and capture that second objective. We get a chance to see a little bit of a replay here, Alex, just showing us what it means to be one of the best off-tanks in Europe. We've got a talented tank lineup in Europe. We've got talented players just across the board, don't we?
We have always produced amazing tanks. Like, that's one of the things. Like, we've had a few good supports, a few good damage dealers, but I feel like our largest export in Europe has actually been our tanks. Well, historically anyway. I don't know if that's the case anymore. I'll have to look at the balance, but we've been pretty good.
Yeah.
Psycho is looking good on Doom. You are absolutely right, Gorilla. And look, I bet they are a European player because they are our top 3% Reinhardt. Exactly my point.
Yeah, lots of great main tanks and off tanks in Europe. But you know, got to give a lot of credit, and something that we don't do often on as much on the stream just because they're not making the flashiest of plays. We don't talk about the supports enough. And, you know, with Johnny, one of the most aggressive, able to find very, you know, big openings on environmental picks. You know, Johnny is one of the most amazing Lucios, I feel like, that we get a chance to see almost exclusively a Lucio one trick. But able to bring out a lot of other heroes as well. But I just love watching their Lucio play.
In the current meta, you don't need anything else. The Lucio typically is a mainstay, so... Oh no, Griffin. We saw how effective Sauna can be at shutting down a Doomfist. Griffin thought he could do the exact same thing. Not against Danid. Not today. We're now leaning on the utility damage provider that is Psycho's May. last man standing on the point itself, and Shoes Money Crew, not really a contest on point A, is it?
This is going to be a really hard fight for the new Kings as this payload unlocks and starts to move. 5 minutes and 45 seconds in the time bank for Shoes Money Crew to make it to that second objective. That's not very far for this payload to have to progress. But the CNSSC stands for clutch. Hey, that's true. Man, you just clutched that one out pretty hard there on first point.
It objectively isn't, though. We literally see what the C means on that tweet. It's in their name. It stands for crew. What are you talking about? What is this revision of history? It could be Shoes Money Clutch after today. If you rename yourself on Twitter, maybe I'll accept that reality. Holding the Deadeye. Ice Wall comes in late as well. They're not going to have an opportunity to break it. So they punish the patience where they can. Danid may have been off more than he can chew, so he has to use the Meteor Strike to reset everything. Main tank's traded, Alex off the field as well. KSA, the only surviving tank. Psycho has the defensive abilities to add himself into that roster in terms of HP and survivability. But he wants the damage. He chose violence today. Sauna and Danid get taken off the map. The new Kings, for the first time this series, first time this map actually, wrestle control of that payload in their favor. And they will be able to stop it again on this next engagement after the reset from KSA.
Yeah, KSA is going to have to come back, but the respawn advantage is there for Shoes Money Crew. They will be able to get back to this payload just a little bit faster. You can see Hades just swinging away, hoping somebody goes into the crosshair. Oh, but big flashbang.
Huh? How did that fan the hammer seem to miss every single shot? That must have been an Alex barrier to save the day. He's about to get the grab online, but he's been pinned in the corner. He gives it over to the damage dealers. Wasn't enough to save him. And it wasn't enough to save the team as well.
The flashbang stopped the blizzard?
No, surely not.
Oh my god.
Surely not.
You didn't see the blizzard go onto the field, did you?
No,
Sauna just hit a massive flashbang to eliminate the blizzard and eliminate the stall potential from Psycho. Now we are in last fight territory here. If Shoes Money Crew are able to close it out here, we've got a tied series on our hands.
No critical ultimate online. Psycho has consistently been shut down by Sauna, whether it's on the Doomfist, whether it's on the May. Sauna is the bane of Psycho's existence. And Hades wants to be another bane as he fires through the Fire Strike. Dredro doing what they can to get something back. SMC ruin the map streak and equalize the series.
Equalizing the series in the first to four. It looks like this series might be able to go the distance. I want to see what happens now that it's up to the new Kings to pick our next destination in this series. But boy, oh boy, this is a photo finish for both of these teams. Shoes Money Crew, though, they look like they woke up a little bit on Eichenwald, their pick.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel as though the flexibility that came out here, actually seeing some changes coming in from SMC, helped them a little bit on their defensive run, but then they ran what they know, ran what they're comfortable with, ran with that meta-defining composition on the offense, and were able to do it to great effect. We heard that Greffin seems to think they have the solution to the Doomfist from SMC. SMC's starting to cast some doubt on that fact.
Maybe we'll get a chance to see those back pocket strategies that Greffin was alluding to when we were talking to them right before we jumped into the grand finals. That's something that might be in the cards and on the table for moving forward in this series. If what new Kings have figured out as the basically the way that they want to handle this Doomfist rush, if that's not working, then maybe what Greffin has in his back pocket will fix it.
Well, we're going to find out after a quick break, but we're also going to have the opportunity to hear from Sab and see what his thoughts are on the current game.
Well, I first got into Overwatch with one of my friends named Brisson. He's an ex-Overwatch League player, actually. And I've known him forever. And we used to play a lot of FPS games together when we were about, 11, 10, 12 years old. And he eventually, just before the open beta of Overwatch came out, he showed me it, and it looked really promising. Like it looks a lot like other games I used to play, and I'm very fond of. So I just hopped into it, and I immediately fell in love with the game. I kind of wanted more of a taste for the competitive aspect of Overwatch rather than just playing ranked. just competing in general kind of gave me a spark to do more, right? To like pick it up a bit. So I eventually, because it took up so much of my time, like both Overwatch and college eventually took up so much of my time, I was kind of split in between what decision I would make regarding my future, right? Because yes, I wanted to compete like more than anything, but finishing my college also had, of course, a massive priority, because obviously you can't compete for your whole life. You know, if you're like 30, you're basically too old to compete most of the time. So it'd be better if I have something to fall back on, right? If like a normal stable job, basically. So when the trials for World Cup came around in 2018, I was still basically in the middle of my college, and yeah, from one thing came another. I just trialed, and 2 weeks later, I get a message that said I was in the team. The rush I got from reading that actually hyped me up so much. That was so incredible. I actually remember it like it was yesterday. It's incredible. Well, after World Cup 2018 was over, when I finished school and I was ready to compete again, but because now I had all the time in the world to do so, and I was trialing for Morning Stars back then, and they chose me, and I went to Morning Stars, and I think I've played there for about, I think, half a year or something, I think, and from there on out, eventually after that half year, we didn't perform very well. I don't know, eventually the team just fell apart, and people just started leaving, and I was quite loyal to Morning Stars, because I think of all the positions there are on an Overwatch team, I think I was the only one that actually stayed loyal and stayed on the team. While the rest, like all the other players, like people came, people went, people came, people went. SMC and Morning Stars was sort of in a struggle, both with their roster, because players would leave and they couldn't really find suitable replacements. What both teams eventually decided to do is to band together, and then we would continue to play under the SMC banner. So one could argue that I have not actively been looking for a team for over a year, but the most recent roster is, I think, by far the best roster we've ever had.
Oh yeah.
Purely, but it's more because as a team we fit very well together, like the players fit very well together. We're in a better place than we've ever been, I'd say. I'm just really excited to keep on playing with this team, and I think that if we keep on performing like we are right now, we might actually stand a chance to be the first for a change. And I honestly hope that all you people out there keep supporting SMC and also keep supporting Tier 2, because it means a lot to us.
A lot of aspirations to be the first place team in one of the tournaments, Rose, and on the cusp of doing it, they just clapped back against the New Kings, equalized out the series. And Sav's a player I've actually met before, I believe, at one of the World Cups. I believe he was on the Netherlands roster at one point. And there's another player in this lobby who also managed, in fact, two who've managed to make it to that stage. Greffen and Lolsish have also been at a BlizzCon World Cup representing their respective countries at some point, I believe. So high pressure situations, quite familiar to a few players in this lobby. Under new circumstances, though, for a grand finals without the presence of Hurricane, let's pull up our map set, see what we're going to over next. Where are we going? What you got for us? Hanamura, an assault type map. And who is going to go on the attack first? It is the New Kings. They will go on the offense, and they will have an opportunity to roll out first on their map pick.
The New Kings have been able to win this map before, so maybe this is another way that the New Kings can say, hey, anything you can do, we can do too, and we could do it better. So I'm excited to see what Hanamura has in store for us, especially given this might be one of the ways and one of the maps that we might get a chance to see some of those different picks come to the fold. Hanamura lends itself really well to the May, obviously, with the Rush, but you could also see the Ashe get played, have that get set up with a nice crossfire on the highest reaches of the map. So there's a lot of things that could come out here, I think, on Hanamura.
I'm looking towards something that we saw a few, just a smidgen of in that previous series. And it's something that seems to be put a lot of value into by the New Kings. Do you think we could see the Hackfish come out here on Hanamura for them? They quite like that. It sounded like they were keen on it.
Yeah, the Sombra and the Doomfist flavor of Rush, I would definitely respect it. I would love to see it. And I think that's definitely something that could come into play here. Sombra can be super effective, especially shutting down the health packs that exist around each of these points that you will be assaulting on this particular map. Gazebo is obviously one of them that is really impactful for flankers. So yeah, maybe gonna get a chance to see the Sombra come out again from Grethen's pocket.
It is the most entertaining Overwatch I've seen in a minute. A hot minute, if you will. It's been a while.
Yeah.
We get to see some great Overwatch this week. I love having tier 2 contenders on a more regular basis. We have it like pretty much every month, I think. Take a little break after this tournament, allow trials to take place, get some new teams into the circuit, and then we do it all again in the summer. Take a look at Shoes Money Crew's defense. This is their comp. This is the one they run. This is theirs. Don't expect many changes.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a massive sign of panic for the team if they have to change in like non-stall environment situations.
Right. Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, Shoes Money Crew, they haven't really strayed too far away from this formula of composition that they've liked to run with Danet on the Doomfist, and of course all the other pieces that make Rush possible. The only changes that we really have seen are whether or not Alex decides to play the Zarya or the Diva. So I really like the Zarya pick here. I also like that Grethen is going to be playing on the Symmetra. We see this Symmetra strat quite a bit on Hanamura, just to be able to bypass a lot of the damage and get to point super, super fast, just like that.
Danet tried to disrupt one of the TPs with a punch, wasn't there in time to make it happen, and now they have to aggress New Kings and get onto the point. Danet finds a route to the side, into the turrets, and Grethen burns them down. Lolsish stunned up in the corner, Immortality Field is there to catch them. Swinging the hammer, cleaving them, Hades on the cusp of death. Should have really finished that one off, but now with no Immortality Field, it's an easy pickup for them. The spawn difference is too large, and Grethen gets to dominate the kill feed once more and get New Kings point A.
One of the things that I really love about the Symmetra choice here is, like, look at that tracking that you get a chance to see from Grethen, and then also look at this variety of point B!
Oh, they used the time of the replay. They blindsided not only us, but Shoes Money Crew with that one, Rose. They're on the point with the swing through. Johnny takes out Exo Wrath. Hades answers on to Grethen. They're missing their big healing. They're missing their damage. And now the front line's starting to crumble too. SMC able to stabilize the momentum from the New Kings, and now they can dig their heels in for a point B hold.
Looks like that really wasn't as much of a blind side. Everybody coming out of spawn, I feel like that teleporter was almost a little bit misplaced to be able to choose the right side that Shoes Money Crew was going to be coming out of spawn with. But wow, I am so pumped to see what's going to happen next, because New Kings, they've got the Photon Barrier available. They also are going to have the Blizzard, the Earth Shatter. Everything's going to be online except for the Amplification Matrix, which was able to get all of those ultimates ready to go for this particular moment.
They have so much control over this point, Rose. They're set up. This is their fight to lose. They've got the barrier down. Deadeye goes straight into it. Beat. There's the Blizzard. The Earth Shatter from Hades buys a little extra time for Shoes Money Crew to react, but the kills are coming in thick and fast. Grab committed. Punch coming in from Danet, only finds one. Meteor Strike gets him back into the engagement. There's no CC, but the damage is there. Exo Wrath takes him out. Hades emerging out the spawn room, gets walled in the corner. They break it. The barrier comes out, so both tanks are in the field. Immortality Field eroded. Alex is taken off to the side. Psycho shuts down Hades. The Bat trying to play behind cover. Lolsish swinging away. Hops over the Fire Strike. Someone has to touch. No one does. 4 minutes and 19 seconds in the bank for the New Kings. I'm going to touch wood as I say this. 8-6 Hanamura? Question mark? 8-6 Hanamura? Anyone feeling that today?
Let's see if on the flip side of things, Shoes Money Crew are going to be able to even capture point B. I feel like that's where the most contention is going to happen. Shoes Money Crew, not really the type of team to flex off of what they know. Obviously, with the stall picks that had to come through, you are going to see some changes there. Danet even looking at the Genji as a potential option to come back before switching over to the Mei and then just not being able to touch the point. Will Shoes Money Crew use the Symmetra strat though. That's kind of what I am curious about as we see the New Kings show off more of their versatility, Trid. We are seeing the New Kings flex onto this dive-centric composition that we've seen them play already in just today's matches.
Yeah, they rolled it out with the well, what was it on? It was on Route 66 they used it, and they used it against elements of double shield. SMC Mega coming in, trying to correct me. More revisionist history.
Crew stands for Clutch Revolutionary European Winners. I love it.
That could be the very tweet that gets retweeted or quote tweeted if SMC do lose this series now. You set yourself up to be put on blast. I hope you're ready for that, Mega. I hope you're ready. They have that Symmetra TP to get people out of the spawn. Daned is opting over to the Sombra, and he played this hero a lot during his time on the British Hurricane. To great success. He had one of the best European teams in existence to play around with. I wonder if he's able to pull off the same effect on SMC. The dive comes into the back line, takes out Exo-Wrath on one of his signature heroes as well. Open it up. Spawn advantage is too far away. The hack onto Lolsish. This is why you bring the Sombra to the fight. You get a pick on the back line, you bring it in, find the main tank who can no longer move. They're not having a conclusive fight as what the New Kings had on their offense, but they're really abusing this spawn difference to trickle them out and get this point A capture.
Yeah, something that I really liked about the way that Dan had handled that, and that was kind of what I was expecting to see, is get the quick pick onto Exo-Wrath Zenyatta. That's like the worst hero to have to play against if you are playing Zenyatta, to be honest with you. And then get the hack onto Lolsish, who then becomes a walking ult battery for the rest of the team. Very easy to take out. You can see how quickly Lolsish was removed from the field, and switching over to the New Kings perspective for just a second.
The Torbjorn.
Psycho is on Torbjorn.
I love it. I love it. This is the flexibility of the New Kings. They get the Torbjorn out. Danid, the second they decloak, the turret is going to start hitting him. Look at this. Oh, he farms it for ult charge and then disappears. So not the best start for the Torbjorn, but that's still going to help deal with this mobile composition from SMC. They're on the hunt right now for Dredro. It's going to get taken out by Sauna. The rundown. They're right outside the spawn, so there's not far for him to go.
Yeah, you talk about mobility. I'm looking at Sauna right now playing the Tracer that could just get auto-tracked with that turret.
Sauna's going to take down Greffen to kick things off. Bobbert on the field. 2 kills. New King stabilizes Exo. Takes out Sab on the Moira as well. The Shoes Money crew have fully pivoted to an incredibly mobile dive composition. And they're just going to pivot back to what they know. But keeping Danid on the Sombra, they can try and win the fight with that EMP.
Yeah, Shoes Money crew right now, they're setting themselves up for the flex back over to the Doomfist if this EMP doesn't work out. That's really all that they have online right now. They will have the Diva Bomb and then the Sound Barrier to kind of elongate the fight, but you're kind of hoping right now that this EMP is going to be big enough that you can land the bomb and pick up a couple of quick picks.
The off angle for KSA. Goes over and grabs the Mega. Not hacked up by Danid. That could have really been a thorn in KSA's. Lolsish going to roll underneath the platform. Has the minefield online, but is being hunted by Alex, who switched over to the Diva. Danid! Rocket boosted out of the fight with the EMP as well. SMC are too far deep to just walk out of this one. They're going to give their lives and ult charge over to the New Kings, who are building up a lot of tools to deal with the setup from SMC. I'm mainly looking towards now, we have the classic Transcendence versus EMP stalemate. One of those things has to give.
Right, and usually in this situation, it's going to be the Zenyatta. The Zenyatta able to stay out of dodge, wait for the right moment to be able to come in with the Transcendence, and then just mitigate the effects of the EMP. Because if Dredro gets cut out, yeah, okay, you can't, Guardian Angel away, and maybe you get some of the mobility of your kit removed. You can still heal, though, but that's when Exo-Wrath really comes in to kind of save the day.
This is the worst map for it as well, because Exo-Wrath can play around the spawn. Oh, he can't Transcendence that, sorta. Takes out Greffen, but there's not enough kills coming in. They're fighting against the spawn difference. They take the D-Mech on to KSA. They even had the Molten Core popped on point, I believe. beat committed by Shoes Money Crew. Exorap can roll out with the Transcendence once he gets the reinforcement. Sab, pay attention to him. Minefield and the Transcendence layered. Johnny, the victim of the explosives. Alex on the back of Ref in the pockets there. He's not really under threat, but Dredro needs some support. Someone has to come back and peel for the Mercy. Who will use the Guardian Angel to get to safety as the rest of the team shuts down SMC. They've eroded the time bank. They have over double the time left. SMC do not have a single bit of capture percentage on this point. New Kings are setting themselves up for victory on Hanamura.
Shoes Money Crew have maybe 2 final attempts left with this 2-minute time bank that they have accrued. Alex still needs to find a way to weave in that Diva Bomb to be able to maybe create some space for the team, get Shoes Money Crew to be able to touch this point. But New Kings, they've got a lot of ways that they can mitigate that success and find that value.
But it's not even that as well, Rose. If they don't finish with time, that's it. The New Kings surely win that map. They would have 4 minutes and 19 seconds to get 33% of point A. And considering how fast they took it last time, I think if Shoes Money Crew don't complete with time, this map is over.
Dana gave up the EMP. Dana switched over to the Soldier 76, a hero that we have not seen come out of their kit for quite a while. I think it was just to be able to get back to point a little bit faster, maybe to provide a little bit more sustain with a healing pod. That's already popped, though.
It's the canary in the coal mine, Rose. They're switching off the meta comp. This doesn't bode well for them. They have been forced to adapt out of the comfort zone they've been running in this tournament run. And Danet's just being hunted by KSA. There's a minute left. Shoes Money Crew have to go for the reset here. Otherwise, this map's over. And Rose, they're going to do it in overtime. There's no way this team can get the full capture in 45 seconds with the setup the New Kings have. Molten Core, Bob, Transcendence, Minefield. They're just not going to do it. They've given this map up.
That Alex is going to go ahead and take a sleep on point. Dredro switching over to the Ana. I love this pick here because if they're able to get the nano boost, then that's super impactful to help sustain through the fight.
They'll destruct on point. KSA will lose his life. There's the Transcendence, the bomb on the back line. Psycho gets up onto the high ground. Bob's there for the stall. 15 seconds. The Shoes Money Crew push is crumbling. The New Kings giving us all the reasons we need to know why they picked this map. 5 seconds tick down. Overtime is in effect. I do not see SMC winning this map, even if they manage to touch, and they can't even manage that. The New Kings take the series into the lead 2-1.
2-1 in this first of 4 grand finals for European contenders. It's already off to a riveting start. We've seen the New Kings take one map and then Shoes Money Crew clap back. And now on their choice, New Kings able to win out this map of Hanamura. It is going to be a photo finish between these two teams. I would love to see if Shoes Money Crew now on their map pick can take the map back. Are we gonna get an even series on our hands?
That would be a treat, wouldn't it, for a grand final? The second grand final of the year in Contenders Europe. No Hurricane, goes the distance. 2 things we've not seen happen in a very, very long time. But we know now that New Kings have got that lead on Hanamura. I believe the next map that in the rotation, what have we had? This was the 3rd map, I believe. So we've had Control, we've had Assault, we've had Escort. No, we've had Hybrid. It means we have to go to Escort, right?
We have to go to an escort map.
And it's Shoes Money Crew's pick. Surely they're not arrogant enough to pick Route 66, right? Surely they don't do that against the New Kings.
I don't think you pick Route 66 against the New Kings. But it does look like maybe in our next map, we are going to be going to Rialto. Let's go ahead and pull that up on your screens for you. Get a look at the map set and how this series has been going so far. Very, very back and forth. But Rialto, another place you could maybe bring out the Hangzhou Flex pick. Especially good on a map that is set up for the double sniper composition. So that's a pick that could come out of the back pocket. I'm not really expecting that we're going to see too much Sombra here. I just don't think that's going to be as effective. But who knows in this series? We've seen a lot of different flexibility come out from at least the New Kings.
And they forced Shoes Money Crew to bend the knee and break away from the composition. If they can do that again, I think they're going to have an easier time of this series. I think the SMC composition can still work on this map. Doomfist has a lot of buildings to hide behind, a lot of space to traverse and go through assassinations. And I think the new Kings are set up to deal with it. I think that they too can have an extra level of safety. They can play with a bit of rain. They can put Greffen onto the Ashe or the McCree and look at shutting down Danad when they go in. Just need to see new Kings keep that proactive play. As long as they play proactively against the Doomfist, they'll walk away with the map. That's what they demonstrated to us earlier in the series.
Exactly. And I feel like that's what the new Kings have really struggled with the most, is adapting and adjusting to this Doomfist style of rush that we have seen come out of European contenders. The new Kings, I feel like they do look a lot better just continuing to play that proactive style of play, as you just mentioned, and especially also being able to pull out some of their own oppositions out of their bag of tricks. Hanamura handedly went the way of the new Kings based on that highly mobile composition that we saw on point B and point A for the defense of the new Kings. That map doesn't go the same way, I feel like, if it ends up being the rush versus the rush, or even if the EMP manages to find value from Shoes Money Crew's side of the field.
Oh, and the audacity to bring out the Torbjorn as well. Not in my Contenders Europe.
No hammer kills, though.
No hammer kills. No, there's none for the montage. There's none to be cropped and put on social media afterwards. But, God, imagine the scenes if Psycho managed that one. That's not something you live down easily.
No. Oh my gosh. Just imagine if you get a Torbjorn hammer kill in the feed, you know. I think you and I would have been going nuts over something like that. But it also affects the mental, I feel like, of Shoes Money Crew if you're going down to a Torbjorn hammer kill. So I'm glad to see that hasn't happened. It looks like both of these teams are still raring to go when it comes down to this series.
Well, absolutely. We'll be jumping into, as we said, Rialto is our next map. The expectation is that we're probably going to see some of the rush, but I think we'll see some new Kings flexibility really shine here on this map. SMC, maybe if they plan to break away from their meta composition, and that is the game plan for them, we see a different side to this team. We've not had to so far this tournament.
Yeah, as Shoes Money Crew, I think, as you put it, if they have to adapt, that is a sign that they might be struggling with the normal composition that they like to run. And especially when you saw some of the stall picks coming out on Hanamura, that's really like the canary in the coal mine of Shoes Money Crew struggling right now. So you really want to see them continue to play to their strengths, play to the advantages that they've been able to carve out for themselves, and continue to set the pace of what the meta should look like in Europe. Going across the pond a little bit to North America, Contenders, which is going to be happening later today on this stream as well. They show off a little bit more flexibility when it comes down to the types of compositions that are run. But Shoes Money Crew has consistently been the most dominant force in Europe to really kind of push teams to have to figure out creative strategies and solutions to the type of meta that we are seeing in European Contenders.
Bastion? Question mark? Is Bastion an option here?
It's not British Hurricane. What are you talking about?
Yeah, it's not British Hurricane. But, we were told to expect some surprises, expect something we haven't seen in a while. Bastion set up on Rialto. Honestly, this is one of those things, Rose, where I'm literally just on the halfway line, just going that. If I take enough shots, one of them's gonna go in.
One of this goes in.
If this is the match the Bastion comes out, I look like a gigabrain 5-head genius. The unlikely time, the unlikeliness of that happening is very prevalent, but I'm setting myself up for success. You got to back yourself sometimes.
Yeah. Hey, risk it for the biscuit a little bit in your predictions, if you will. But yeah, the Bastion, man, that would be something to see, especially since we have got a chance to see it come out a few times during our matches that we have seen in European Contenders, most notably by the British Hurricane, where you add Explosione, you were supposed to do it too. But the Bastion has been a pick that we have seen on Rialto before. That would be huge in Gigabrain if we saw it come out here.
I think we're both in agreement. It's not going to happen, though.
No, I don't. I'm trying to put it lightly. I don't think it's happening.
You should have just dragged me for that entire thing. That's the second tweet I've actually seen tonight about Sauna. Sauna seems to be this player that's been around for a really long time that a lot of players have had some affinity towards. And it's easy to see why. You know, he's been trucking along on these teams that haven't had the greatest of success, but still powering through the Path to Pro system. And now they're finding themselves in this grand final on the cusp of grabbing a tournament win, a championship equivalent, basically. How could you not get invested if you've been here for the long haul?
Yeah. I know we haven't talked too much about Sauna throughout this entire series, but we would be remiss if we didn't get a chance to really show off what they're able to do, especially with the McCree as going to be their main pick of poison for this matchup, which has been consistently something that they do. And
I knew it! Where in the world is Danid? Right on the end of a flashbang. Catching the flank, and it allows the New Kings to push forward, get control of this payload nice and early.
Yeah, and stopping it before they can really... This is as close of a hold as it really gets now in the Brawl versus Brawl meta that we see.
Oh, that's what I was worried about. Being caught on the bridge, it's prime material for the predator that is Dredro to walk in here with the environmentals, knock Sab straight off the bridge. And another reset. 1 minute burnt from Shoes Money Crew, and they're not even round the first corner.
Shoes Money Crew having a little bit of trouble getting out of the gates. But yeah, look at Dredro right now, looking for an opportunity to go for another environmental.
They're playing it super safe. They don't want to risk the opportunity. Griffin. Keeping an eye on that angle. Danid, not there this time. He's gone back to the main. They're going to go across the bridge. Danid gets the assassination on Psycho. This should make it very easy for Hades to drop that shatter. Takes out KSA as Danid claims another one before he gets locked in a room by Griffin. May have lost the fight. Still gets to win that miniature skirmish. 2 minutes 30 left to contest point A. They might be able to get the corner fight, but I feel like that would be ambitious.
No, I think this fight definitely happens in the courtyard and maybe around the mini. You know, there's a lot of architecture that you can play around with here, a lot of high ground that KSA is going to try to take advantage of along with Griffin. But look at this. No, just going to go ahead and push them back with the main wall.
And they've already got Hades. They will effectively get their corner fight with the payload behind them. So they're going to be missing even more terrain. That's actually, I think that's a net win for New Kings because that's less territory for Shoes Money Crew to cower behind and avoid the damage.
This also allows New Kings to potentially come back and have yet another contest. Look at the corner that they're able to take. They're going to take the high ground so they can get the drop on Shoes Money Crew when they do come through, and also hide behind this Deadeye.
Everyone scatters. Payload control back over the Shoes Money Crew. They're saying they're not prepared. Let's see if they are. Danid punches through. No one's in range. Slamming to the ground. D-Mech for Alex. No support for Danid. Freeze. Up onto Hades. Beat coming out from Dredro. Wasn't enough to save Lolsish. It's enough to keep them entrenched on point A. Self-destruct in the middle. The shield not available for Hades. Gonna get that fast regen as Danid falls victim to Griffin once more. The window will amplify Sauna's output. The fan to hammer through it is even more obnoxious. Flashbang won't make it over the shield. As Griffin walks around to the side, boots him into the wall so he's unable to get the full FOV on that ultimate. They'll trade it back though as Sauna gets theirs ready. Johnny commits the beat. No one stepping forward, but it gets the payload under this bridge. Tiny Overwatch is going to be in effect. DM eats up the flashbang. Hades is sitting on the shatter. He finds two on the back, but the bomb is the one to take out Dredro. Then Alex will sweep through with the micro missile. Shoes Money Crew push down to the wire with their time bank, and New Kings are going to get even more, but they finally break the hold and get point A.
Point A captured for Shoes Money Crew, but they had to throw a lot at that fight in order to be able to take that capture. And now Lolsish is going to be coming back with the Earthshatter. Had a whiff and a miss. Did not find value from the first Earthshatter that we saw on Rialto just being taken out before the Earthshatter animation could go off. But Psycho's going to be coming back to the Blizzard as well. Very, very good for defending teams, just to be able to stem the aggression that's going to be coming out from the attacking side.
As expected, they take control of stairs. Flank attempt coming in there. KSA knocked back by Danid. Unable to clasp that pincer movement. As you said, we're looking towards Lolsish's shatter. They'll press forward, split the fight. Flashbang's there. Doesn't need to commit it. Hades caught off guard. The wall gave him nowhere to run to regroup with the team. Without this main tank, team's gonna crumble. Greffin has 3 sightlines. A shatter could get dropped if things start to panic. Or burn even more time. New Kings have 6 ultimates to play with, Rose. They need to rotate them correctly to burn this 2-minute time bank.
Yeah, that rotation's gonna look a lot like holding on, you know, using the amplification matrix on cooldown and then trying to cycle through those ults.
Oh, great ice block. They've used 1. They've used 2. Unable to find anything because Dana does it without. Tell a lie, use the meteor strike, but doesn't sound as fun when you say that. Sauna and Dana picking up the kills. Nice punch there, cancels the charge. Uppercut as well to isolate Lolsish. 1 minute 15. One more contest from the New Kings, and they will get an opportunity to use this Blizzard.
One more contest coming through, so I want to see the Deadeye get used first. Sana doesn't have it online, so you're not necessarily going to have to trade it out. And then you go for the Blizzard once you have, like, the Immortality field offline.
They're giving him space. They'll retaliate. The bomb lulls them into a false sense of security. High noon. Off to the side. Johnny goes down. No beat present. Shatter from the side. Only finds KSA. Danny will follow up with the punch onto Lolsish. About to get frozen. But Greffin's the one to finish him off. Sauna deals with the D-Mech Diva. Alright, spot to settle. Sauna now whips out the Deadeye. Wall comes up to block the shot. No one's able to break it. Base was created as Danin will come back to the point. Greffin gets flashbanged and killed by Sauna. The freeze will go through to the main tank. The wall keeps them out of the fight. 15 seconds remaining. Beat for Shoes Money Crew to push this one over the line after Danin takes out Exo-Raph, gets the D-Mech. And that's enough. SMC once again pushed down to the wire but still persevere on their map choice. They're on the final section of Rialto.
Choose Money Clutch. That's the name that they have been given right now for this particular match. And being able to go ahead and take this aggressive positioning is going to buy so much more time for this cart to round these corners. This is the hardest point of Rialto to attack. And one of the reasons why is because of how much of an advantage the New Kings do get on their defense by having that respawn advantage and also having the ultimates to do so. That Blizzard hasn't been able to be used yet.
Not found an opportunity to it. There's too much pressure being applied. Shoes Money Crew are definitely the deciders. They're the ones pulling the trigger, taking the napkin first and deciding whether you go left or right for the rest of the table. Sab's about to get the window. Finite sightlines to use that one in. Probably going to send it straight down main. As New Kings get ready to use ultimates of their own. Keep an eye on the flanks. Greffin's gone over to the Reaper. If there was ever a time to make the pick work, it's now. Sab pops the burst. Fire Strike. The thing that caused him to pull the trigger on that one. 30 seconds remaining. It's going to be a one-fight completion for Shoes Money Crew if they do it. Psycho has still got control of that Blizzard. There's the wall. Shatter committed. The Blizzard comes out. There's the beat for Tridro. He's going to boop him away. Immortality field is something that Hades needs to dodge around. He's gone for the charge. Straight into the ice block. Greffin's found Danin. He didn't need the McCree. He just needed the damage. He's to take out the Doomfist. 5 seconds remaining. Axe is frozen up. There's the D-Mech as well. Greffin on point with the Death Blossom. It's the crescendo for Shoes Push. But what a distance that the New Kings now have to match.
Wow. Holy cow. Greffin coming back in with another big Death Blossom. What else do you expect from this particular player at this point? 2, 3-person Death Blossoms every single time. Except for one, but we won't talk about it. But every time New Kings want to go for a big hero play like that, it's always a team effort, you know? It's always a team effort with the front line helping to create the discipline as well as the distraction so that Greffin can go in and make that big hero play.
You might get your wish here, Rose. What's Greffin hovering?
Oh, the Hangzhou!
I mean, Sauna did hover the Bastion in Spawn, so and we didn't get to see that, so we might not be guaranteed that one. Choose Money Crew will roll out on their stable composition as expected. And so they too will probably be looking to have a similar performance so they can catch New Kings on the bridge, because not only Johnny can get environmentals here, Danid can also get them as well. Alex can sweep through on the Diva. There's lots of options to get cheap and efficient kills.
Right. But we'll have to wait and see whether or not Shoes Money Crew are going to go ahead and let that, happen, or be able to make those avenues for themselves. As we do see them set up on the high ground here, New Kings are going to come out in Grethin. Grethin just used the Sonic Arrow to be able to help see where Shoes Money Crew is coming from. Also just trying to find Danit, I think, and that's one of the reasons why I really like the Hangzhou pick here. Not only for the verticality that is offered on the map, but also because you can check your flanks.
Keep an eye on where they're going. Sauna. He's shooting down Main Street for the time being. Grethin finding value, takes out Johnny. Dredro's happy to roll over Hades as Grethin finds Danit again. Thorna ends his reign of terror, but Shoes Money Crew have lost too much in this first engagement. So that first hold not going to be happening, and this is going to be a 2-fight point A if Shoes Money Crew can't find a win here.
Yeah, Shoes Money Crew will be able to come back and recontest this card before it rounds the final corner to be able to make it under the archway. But New Kings already off to an explosive start. Shoes Money Crew not buying themselves the same type of advantage that we did see New Kings have in terms of being able to contest 3 times on this first point.
Look for the shatter. It's online for Lolsish. The Immortality Fuel keeps him safe. They can't cancel it, and it finds free! That should be the fight for the New Kings, but it's so divided. It's all over the place. Hades tries to answer back with one of his own. Grethin comes in on the Reaper to take out Danit. The Wit under the bridge, holding the Deadeye. The beat comes out, buys them more time. Flashbang into Grethin. Wraith forms to safety. He's sitting in the blizzard, and there's the cap for SMC. 4 minutes 40 on the clock, and the stragglers from the crew are being picked off.
This cart gets a chance to go all the way around to the next archway that is on Rialto, past the theater. And we'll have to see where the rest of Shoes Money Crew are really going to come from, because you can't take the high ground here. You can't fight on the stairs. Although we will see Alex try to make their way there. This is going to be a scrappy fight.
Well, look at where Reaper's holding on. Grethin tucked away in a corner of his own. Danit cannot stay in that position he created for himself. Alex Bomb. Not going to be traded out, but he wants to hunt down the Demon before the remake comes in. Finds an opportunity to do so. Exo Raph traded out for Sawyer and Sab. Hades will also drop. New Kings, they've rekindled that power of momentum they brought into this series, and they are dominating Shoes Money Crew on Rialto.
Look at how much time New Kings are going to have to reach that white rectangle of victory and bring us into a 3-1 scoreline. Holy cow, that is a sizable time bank to have to get through. And Immortality Field got popped so that Shoes Money Crew could escape effectively. It's not going to be online anymore. Sab does not have that tool at their disposal anymore.
He's on the window. Oh, he shattered on top of the wall! How did Psycho sneak that one in under Hades? Oh, that's so frosty. Oh, it's so painful. The beat comes out from SMC. The space creator to match the blizzard from Psycho. I think that's a net win for the New Kings though, Rose. 4 minutes 30 on the clock, and not a lot of distance to push this car, but they're taking away vital resources from the crew.
Grethin has another Death Blossom. Let's see this in action. Let's see yet another example of the frontline creating enough distraction for Grethin to go in and get a huge hero and a potential match-winning play here.
So you need Psycho in the tank line to really deal this one. You need to pull Alex away and find a path for Grethin to get into the fight. He gets flashbanged early and stunned as well. Immortality Field can't catch him. So if New Kings were building their play around that Death Blossom, they're going to have to wait a little bit longer. May try and get a few picks of their own. Windows there is KSA, demexed and killed by Danit. New Kings could have done without using that window. I feel like they needed to hold on to that one once your big gun was taking out the fight.
As an attacking team, you can kind of use Amplification Matrix on cooldown. That's all right. Especially when you are basically using that to just kind of buy some time for your team to come back to you. Now we will see Sab's Amplification Matrix get traded out here, but look at the pathing New Kings are taking to just completely mitigate that effect.
Grethin's going to walk forward here. Takes a cheeky flank. Meteor Strike lands just as the Sama does. Greffin uses that Death Blossom, but no one's in the party room. The tank line from the New Kings gets taken out. Greffin finds a few frags on the exit. Still 3 minutes of this time bank. They built up towards that Death Blossom, but it just was not meant to be. SMC, with the proactive play, put New Kings on the back foot and caused them to use their ultimates in an inefficient way.
But take a look at Dredro having a sound barrier online already, though. You know, maybe you can just wait and see if you can force it out of Johnny first. But this is going to be sound barrier versus sound barrier here.
Wait for it. Here we go. They're going to step back now. The wall creates even more opportunity for the Blizzard to get that freeze on the Hades. They take care of the Immortality field. Johnny's Blizzard might be needed here. He's going to heal and move the team back. Flashbang onto Psycho. The deliverer of that incendiary device, unable to stay alive for longer as they get onto the home stretch. 2 minutes 30. They've got Dredro's beat. Johnny has it to match. But it's the bomb from Alex that could win them this fight and keep them in this game.
Well, we're just going to go ahead and see them back away from the amplification matrix that Sab has used on the field. New Kings just patiently waiting that out before they're able to come in and try to force out some more cooldowns from Shoes Money Crew so they can close out this map.
Punch, uppercut, Deadeye on the back line. Oh, tried to catch them through the terrain. The Lucios are still holding on to these sound barriers. Next ult's online, look to be the Reinhardt shatters or the Meteor Strike. They press forward. Lolsish is about to get his. Alex fighting against the beat. Has the bomb on the back line. Lolsish finds the hammer onto 2. Danid can't escape with the Meteor Strike just yet as they trade out Hades for Psycho. The Death Blossom catches Danid before he can ult. Greffin didn't need the 2K with it. He just needed to find Danid. Who's the contest? Who's the last man? They're not on the point. And the New Kings take us the match point.
3-1 scoreline in favor of New Kings now as we approach our match point in our first of 4 grand finals. We are on the cusp of securing a new contender in that throne of European contenders right now. I'm so excited, Trid.
I did not expect this to go down to a 3-1 scoreline. I was expecting an answer back here from SMC, drag us out to the 2-2, keep the series going. If this was any other match, the series is over. This is the only match in the tournament we have first to 4 maps. It is now the New Kings sitting on that match point. We are going to go to a break. When we come back, map number 5 and the conclusion of this tournament is on the line. The new Kings are on the cusp of bringing themselves the title they have named themselves. They are on the brink of becoming the new Kings of Europe. Hurricane, fallen by the wayside. Choose Money Crew are their last opponent, and they have taken them to match point rows. That Rialto performance was absolutely dominant, and that was Choose Money Crew's pick as well. That's going to be a sting to the mental, and Choose Money Crew are going to need every ounce of it to come back and try and nail some semblance of a reverse sweep. And when they've chosen what their map choice is going to be, they're taking us over to another control. We're heading to Busan.
And I kind of wonder about this because of the fact that, Choose Money Crew, they were not able to take the first map of the day, which was a control map. And if we could see some of the, the dive come out, we could see it maybe around Drum, Sanctuary, if that gets kind of, put into our laps, then that is, I think, the series finisher for New Kings.
Not looking good for Choose Money Crew. A team that has been leaning into the mold of a composition that they set and defined for Europe. And they're being forced to break out of it themselves because the New Kings have got their number. They know what to do. They're the ones stretching and bending around this unstoppable force. And if you're that rigid, you tend to be quite brittle as well. And that's what's happening to SMC now that they've been exposed. I need to see some semblance of flexibility. You may be able to run out with your Brawl composition here, the Doomfist, the McCree, rock that on most of the maps. But when it comes down to the likes of Mecha Base, where the Mei becomes very powerful, we've seen some teams opt to go in for some Sombra on that map, maybe some Ashe and play at range. I don't see SMC flexing onto those options, but I do see the New Kings doing that.
Sombra, though, is a part of Choose Money Crew's kit. Danit has flexed over to that hero before, even a part of this series, and in matches past. So I think the Sombra is still a part of the cards, and especially if we do get to Sanctuary, or we do go to downtown, and we see New Kings flex onto one of the many versatile compositions that they have been able to play throughout this series, I think that's where the Sombra becomes incredibly valuable. We've seen the Wrecking Ball come out from Lulsish. We've also seen gotten a chance to see like the Diva. We've seen a lot of Diva come out from KSA, so any hack onto either of those targets makes them walking alt batteries for Choose Money Crew to exploit.
And if they can convert that into the EMP, the fight win scenario, that's what they need to lean on. That's what they need to depend on. Speaking of which, one fight winners, Alex may be inclined to flex back over to the Zarya on this one rather than rely on the Diva. I feel like some maps are going to demand it, particularly downtown. I think you need to head over, but there's some other opportunities here where you can go back to the more comfortable off-tank pick for SMC.
Yeah, especially if you're going to be playing something like a Tracer on the side of New Kings, as we are going to be entering into Sanctuary. This is where we do see a lot of more of the flexibility come out from each team. Zarya could really stick it to the Tracer. Maybe if you're trying to get the one clip into somebody in the backline, then you have those bubbles available on the side of Alex to be able to save Johnny or Sab.
Ready for battle.
What is that? What on earth is that? Is that a rabbit with a gun? Rabbit with the gun going pew pew?
Pew pew. It's a bunny blaster.
Oh my god, I'm so dumb. The Bunny Blaster from Alex, it turns out, as they're hovering over the Diva as well. So no Zarya flex to be found on Sanctuary. The real flexibility appears to be coming from Psycho, who is opting in to the Sombra and allowing Greffen to flex the muscles on the McCree.
Love it. Yeah, I absolutely love this. I think the Sombra could be the perfect pick here, especially if you're able to hack up Sab, then you don't have the Immortality field in play, which could be huge for being able to just, win out team fights. So let's go ahead and see what's going to happen here as we see Psycho start to get set up with the Translocator.
Keep an eye on where Danit is. Hack onto Johnny. Oh no, that's disastrous, and Greffen shoots him out of the sky! Follows up with the Immortality field to be claimed. They've got nothing to stay on this point with. Greffen again finding the kills when his team needs them. Breaks the shield of Hades, allowing Lulsish to walk forward uncontested and put that final nail in the coffin. New Kings claim the first cap on Busan.
Psychos are already 70% towards that EMP. That is huge when it comes down to how you cycle through these ultimates. You can use Exorath's amplification matrix to be able to help get that EMP online and ready to go. Or, you know, Psycho could just farm it himself, to be quite honest with you, just going after some of those picks that are not protected by Hades' shield.
There's that window we spoke about. Psycho's not in position to benefit from it for the time being. He's off doing Secret Agent Sombra strats. Probably leaning on that EMP. Shatter finds free on the back line! And Griffin follows up with the 3K! This is the New Kings, baiting and switching. We were looking for the EMP. It wasn't what we needed to be worried about. It was the Shatter, it was the Deadeye. They're all on their back. There's nothing to block. And Griffin pulls the trigger for 4.
Wow, even gets the mech out of Alex as well for that impressive stagger. And now we're going to be approaching over the halfway mark. New Kings, they could use the EMP to clean it up here, and then maybe hold on to the sound barrier to have the aggressive push for their final engagement.
There's no tools on SMC's side. The closest they have is Alex's bomb. Maybe Danid can get the Meteor Strike online, but he's going to have to commit himself into the fight ahead of time. Psycho can't connect the hack. He's got the whole hand on the go. No DM to eat up the damage coming in from the D.Va. Get the Immortality field as well. The D-Mech and Hades will drop down. Surely they do not get to take this entire round without using that EMP, because we're in the final fight territory. If New Kings get away with not having to push that panic button, they have truly earned Sanctuary.
Oh no, they're gonna use it here. EMP or Shatter. Los is just getting set up here. Another big Fire Strike will be able to net them that or Shatter, and that's what they're looking for right now to close out this first round of Busan.
Bomb, Shatter, only finds KSA. Alex won't get anyone. He doesn't get the D-Mech because Griffin snipes him across the map. Holding the Deadeye. Psycho in position. EMPs, but I think he was shattered out of it. I actually think that the Mad Lad was actually either flashbanged out of that one, because I don't think it connected, but it does not matter. New Kings able to secure the victory there. And Rose, I don't think it was the Earth Shatter actually. It was the flashbang that I think cancelled the EMP.
As soon as you saw the Sombra from Psycho make their way into the fold, Sana had their number. Sana was able to hit that impressive flashbang, stop the EMP, but it didn't matter. We are 1-0 and moments away from crowning New Kings as the new champions of Europe.
They are so close to the throne right now, Rose. They can see the rich Corinthian leather. They can see the individual fibers of the fabric. They just need to clamp down on Shoes Money Crew one last time in this round and start a new dynasty in Europe. They already emerge onto the point. Uppercuts traded as Psycho will be the first victim of this round. Both Doomfists removed from the fight as the main tanks are the ones that claim the kills. Positional advantage wholly in favor of SMC as they're keeping New Kings closer to their spawn. And it looks like that's enough to earn themselves the first cap. Dredro pops back up for Johnny.
Are you sure?
I don't know. I may have spoken too soon here. Griffin gets another kill. Danid with the slam. Stops KSA dead in his tracks. The window cuts off the route SMC need to take to get to the point. Rocket punch from the side. Booped away. Tries to get the slam. They have to commit the Immortality field to keep him up, but Dredro still smelt blood in the water and chomped down. First point capture goes to the New Kings. SMC on the recontest with the Deadeye for the time being. They get the D-Mech and they finish off the baby D.Va within. They take Psycho out of the sky. This should be the flip going back to SMC. It's not the start they wanted on this round.
No, but 18% is definitely a percentage that Shoes Money Crew can match as they start capturing percentage of their own. Psycho, though, switching off of the Doomfist and onto the May. This is where we expected to see the May come out on Mecha Base to be able to block off the sight lines from Sana, stop the Deadeye, stop the Amplification Matrix from Sab. Huge stuff here and huge value that this May pick can find coming out from Psycho.
I want to see Alex's energy. He's got the grab online. It would indicate he's probably pretty healthy. 70, about to climb. Lolsish has already killed Hades. He's getting into the mix. The right-click damage, he can only find one. He's backed off from behind the terrain. He set his team up for success, though. Sauna able to capitalize. Knock everyone for 6. The point is getting contested, but KSA will not sneak the cheeky flip. And they get a D-mech as well. Thankfully, there's an environmental right there for KSA to get the reset. SMC climbed the percentage higher. They've broken the 50% threshold.
The May becomes more impactful on defense than it does on the attack. But if New Kings can take back control from Shoes Money Crew, I feel like that's when they get a chance to be set up for success here. We're looking at Johnny Soundbearer to be able to stop a lot of the aggressive plays that New Kings can have here, especially looking at the Death Blossom available from Grethen.
Don't worry about the Death Blossom. Worry about Dead Eye. Makes the New Kings cower. They come back out. Beat. Doesn't save Hades. The punch connects with Exo Wrap. Shatter from Lolsish. Fire Strike to follow up. The charge comes in. KSA found one, but they couldn't find the second kill off the combo. And Lolsish cost him his life. They get the flip in one fight territory. Death Blossom in the tiny Overwatch room. Not on Johnny's watch. As KSA will have to be the one to answer it. Johnny finds a second. He's feeling himself. He's feeling the music. Hunting down Daned. Dip dive. Dodging and ducking to the mini. Gets himself some health to recover. Shoes Money Crew are in one fight territory to win this round. And Grethen is on the flank with the Death Blossom.
Looking at Grethen right now to be able to make yet another hero play using the 2 or 3 person Death Blossom here. But look at where Danid went.
They didn't spot him.
No. He's just going free.
No. Behind it, in the middle, the DM's there for the sweep. The Immortality Field keeps them alive, but they lose Danid in the chaos. Psycho's now got this Blizzard online, and Hades has been forced to drop down into the death box. Grethen's Blizzard did not get kills, but this time around, he was the distraction. He pulled the resources, and he allowed his team to succeed.
And now we're matching percentage here. We're going into final fight territory between these two teams. A lot of ultimates on the board for both. But I'm looking at Psycho's Blizzard, looking at the defensive advantage that New Kings have by having control of this point.
Tournament points on the line in this fight. Sorta will get them to get on that point and open up the capture. Daned. Not gonna find it. Shatter gets Grethen. The pin connects. They've taken out the big gun of the New Kings, and the Graviton Surge should do the rest. Over the top, Meteor Strike to isolate Exo-Wrath. They get the assassination. New Kings sitting in overtime, but SMC are sitting firmly on the point. They get one pick onto Danid, and the Ice Block will allow more time for the recontest in this final fight to come in. Shoes Money Crew, they've only delayed tournament point. They have not defeated it yet.
Lolsish is coming back with an Earth Shatter. If they can get Hades' shield down and out of the mix, then that might be able to help here. And also look at the potential.
Oh, he caught him! Oh! He got the tank line entirely. Immortality Field comes out, but damn it! Answers back on the Dredro. Follows it up on the Grethen. 2 for 1 being traded before that man loses his life. As they stagger themselves onto the point, Johnny comes down from the rafters, assassinates Lolsish. SMC are not done in this match just yet, and they force us downtown.
We're going downtown, Trid. And you know what that means? New Kings can pull out more out of their bag of tricks. This is yet another control stage that we get a chance to see coming out from Busan. And if we see any flexibility here, it will be coming out from the New Kings. Shoes Money Crew have not strayed away from this formula yet. I don't expect them to, but the New Kings, they're coming back with a vengeance. They want to close out the series here.
The wall is going to get maximum value in these early skirmishes, especially considering everyone goes for that collision up on the high ground and play around that central point. The wall can be great at using the terrain to isolate the teams. Now, when it gets back to the point, the wall is good at splitting the fight, but it's not going to be able to completely isolate everyone. So really, you have to make the Maze impact known in this first engagement, otherwise it starts to fall off a bit, I feel.
Yeah, well, I'm hearing that we're going to... yeah, Grethen's already found Hades. That's the main tank down for the side of Shoes Money Crew.
They're not giving him ult charge. They're backing all the way out. Danid couldn't find the escape route. So Grethen will get that first kill. They'll rotate round to the point, and now they get to abuse the Mei from the point of the defenders. It's much more powerful to use it that way.
Exactly. You can block off the sight lines. You can block off the route of ingress. There's so many ways that Mei can be powerful here. Or you can just segment off a member of the team.
Daned isolates the members of New Kings by himself. He knocked off about 3 different people there and manages to secure a kill on Exoraf before going down. Sauna's happy to oblige his sacrifice and convert it into more kills. But Greffin's still alive. You haven't dealt with the problem until Alex steps in and will get his team on the point for the flip. 28%. And another early flip for SMC.
Early flip for SMC, but the hard road is ahead of them. Shoes Money Crew need to try to stabilize this series, bring us into a 6th map. The Shoes Money Crew, they're starting on the warpath right now. But I'm looking at the fact that Sauna could just get this Deadeye completely blocked off by the Mei wall. And Danid, though, could play a little bit more aggressively. Look at the route that they can take here. The rollout, the punch! Forcing out the Wraith.
The Wraith form from the Reaper. But not a lot else. Window used. D-Mech there. Beat as well. Straight into the shatter of Hades. And Shoes Money Crew create a firing line that dismantles the New Kings on the entry. That'll give him 50%. That'll push him closer to keeping him alive in this tournament.
But look, it was really just the sound bearer and the amplification matrix that were used on the side of New Kings. They still have their powerful, heavy-hitting ultimates at their disposal. Working back up to the Earth Shatter from Lulsish. Grethen has the Death Blossom online. There's a lot of combinations we could see here. And look at the pathing, forcing Shoes Money Crew to come to them.
The grab kicks things off. The Immortality Field catches a lot of the damage that's being broken. Daned cracks that lamp. Sauna with the 3K in the fight. And SMC are now pushing into that one fight territory. The Blizzard, the Bomb, the Death Blossom. There's so much damage available for New Kings. They just have to connect before Shoes Money Crew can take them apart.
But watch out for Johnny's sound barrier. Even if New Kings, they're able to execute on an ultimate, Johnny could come in and save the day. And that's kind of what you have to expect out of a Lucio. Look at Danid.
He's seen Danid. He wants to get in range. Oh, he's been spotted out. This could be disastrous for him. Wraith forms to safety. Shadow finds nothing. Lulsish has one of his own. The Blizzard off the point. Greffen will not be bringing the Death Blossom to the party. Johnny with the sound barrier. There's no connection. All these ultimates. And it relies on KSA to find 2. His parting gift from the fight. Overtime's in effect. They need to stay on the point. Drijo takes out Danid. The New Kings, they have no right in winning this fight, but they are gonna get away with it and get the flip.
Get the flip, get the staggers. Losh is able to find Sauna with the fire strike, and then Drijo sending Johnny off the edge. Just a little bit of a reset there for Shoes Money Crew as they're gonna come back and full. Alex gonna have the Graviton Surge. That has been a huge fight-winning ultimate for Shoes Money Crew and a great way to flip the tides.
They just need to win one fight. They take us to map number 6. Still have to fight against match point.
Who's backcapping?
Oh no, it's Danid. Don't get away from it. KSA gets back to the point. Diva will be able to rotate fast. They've lost Danid. Death Blossom for Greffen. The showstopper, but Sauna! He stops it first. He kills the lights. Beat there for Lulsish to take out 1. Make that 2. They're still alive, Rose. They got themselves that final fight territory off the back of that engagement. They still have the Blizzard and the Death Blossom to use in this one. New Kings are set up for success.
They got out the sound barrier from Johnny as well. So all that needs to happen here, KSA might be able to eat the Graviton Surge. That way you don't have that Grand Slam combination of the Surge as well as the Meteor Strike online. But look at where Grethen is hiding. Look at the patience, the play, wanting to go in for the Death Blossom to the back.
Oh, Sauna knew he rolled out of it. Still manages to take out Alex. 2-for-1 trade so far. No one touched!
That's it!
Victory.
This wasn't their victory. This was just the start. The New Kings, crowned Kings of Europe in our 2nd tournament of the year.
We just watched history.
We watched history, Rose. And honestly, there's a blemish on that history because it happened off the back of a Cloud9 happening every single time without fail tonight. But it doesn't change the fact the New Kings put themselves in the position of success to benefit from that forced error coming in from Shu's Money Crew. And the New Kings can celebrate soundly knowing that they have won the second tournament of the year, and they are the first team in over a year that is not British Hurricane to sit on the throne of Europe.
Can't forget about Exoblivione able to take out British Hurricane, but this is the first time British Hurricane hasn't seen a grand final, and that has paved the way for these teams to make a name for themselves. Shu's Money Crew, unfortunately, going to be going home now in second place, but the New Kings at a 4-1 scoreline will take it all home. Holy cow, what a grand final that we were able to just witness here in European Contenders.
There's the bracket for you to recap the entire journey. The New Kings win the grand final with a 4-1 scoreline. Take themselves a winning position to move into the next month. Shu's Money Crew, they alluded to it in the interviews. They said, hey, we didn't play against the full-strength New Kings. Then Greffen, he comes out and says, nah, we're playing at 110 today, friendo.
Yeah.
Comes out, has a monstrous performance in the early part of this series and kept it going into the next. Greffen able to show up big for his team, helped them succeed massively in this grand final. Rose, we're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, we're going to have a winner's interview. We're in the start of a new era, one where we have new kings, quite literally dominating Europe. They won a 4-1 series against Shu's Money Crew, and we're going to be joined by Psycho, who just took a quick victory lap in the break for us. Psycho, first question right out the back. You've won Contenders. I believe this is your first time winning a Contenders tournament as well. How does that feel on a personal level?
I mean, it feels really good after the grind. I've been in Contenders for like over a year, so it feels really good winning now, and I'm very happy.
Yeah, I mean, let's just talk about your individual performance. You were able to make some huge plays today, whether it was, on the Doomfist or on the May. We were able to get a chance to talk to Grethen a little bit about the flexibility of the new kings, but let's hear from you. What do you think this does for the meta in European Contenders, knowing how flexible you all played in order to achieve the crown?
Yeah, I mean, we, like Grethen already mentioned in the previous interview, we decided that this month we would want to play around our strengths and instead of just sticking to one comp. So this month we really focused on our flexibility and on comps that we're very strong on an individual level on.
Yeah, and what do you think that does? Are people going to have to flex around you? Shu's Money Crew, they showed some, hits in the armor there with the composition that was really able to kind of shape what the meta looked like for Contenders with the Doomfist Rush. Do you think more teams are going to have to play as flexibly as you in order to find a top spot in the next months?
Yeah, I mean, probably, but SMC actually was the first team that started playing Doom, and they kind of made other teams start playing Doom, so it's good on them for doing that. And I think Doom has a pretty nice spot in the current meta.
That's the thing, though. We're eyeing up the potential of the next Contenders tournament, because you don't have to play in trials with virtually being a top 4 team.
Yeah.
The meta could be different. We don't know what patch is going to come in between now and then, and it might require a new team, the new Kings maybe, to set what the meta will be in Europe.
Yeah, I mean, I hope that the meta is going to change, because honestly I'm getting kind of bored of Rush. But maybe that's because I'm a DPS player and I have to play some May. But I'd like some dive. I want some dive.
You want dive back? I mean,
dive. Yeah. I love casting dive.
Yeah.
Can't argue with that. So what does the ideal meta look for you, Psycho? Is it literally just going back to dive, or anything else you want to see?
For me personally,
about that? Yeah, for you. What does the ideal meta look like?
Back in Gauntlet, I was very, very strong on the Echo, so I wouldn't mind if Echo comes back into the meta, because I feel like I did a very good job on that hero, and I feel I'm pretty good on that hero. But any dive really is what I'd like. So yeah, I also think it would fit New Kings very well, because I think we're very good at dive, probably the best in EU Contenders.
That's a strong claim to make, and hopefully we get the wish and we get to see it, because it'd be good to actually have some footage to back that up with the teams. But let's talk about this Torbjorn, actually. I got a few questions. So you're able to whip that out on Hanamura. I'm guessing that's purely about having something that has that auto lock and space control to deal with a Sombra and a Tracer running at you, right?
That, and I also don't really like playing Tracer on Hanamura second. But the Torbjorn was just like I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna go Torb, whatever. Hopefully we win.
I mean, it's a great pick to bring out, especially if you want to test the ability of the team to work together. So I think that ended up working out fantastic for you. Oh man, we got to talk about some of the plays that you guys were able to make as a team, though, as well. What are the comms like when yourself or Grethen are able to pop off and really get one of those fight-winning moments?
Usually we just pre-plan fights. Like if someone has an ult, he calls what he wants to do, and then we look to commit to that plan in the fight. So anyone who has an ult can make any plan, and we play around that.
Is there someone who filters the plan and edits it? I'm not necessarily saying a shot caller, but is there someone in the team who's kind of going, maybe not this time, or actually, yeah, let's do that? Is there some kind of voice of leadership in the team, or is it everyone kind of calls for themselves?
I'd say Lulch is still the overall shot caller. He's still big boy little Sish. But anyone, if anyone doesn't really like the plan, they'll say, but usually we trust the player because they know what they want. Which I think makes differentiates a good team from a really good team is trust.
Yeah, you all clearly have a lot of trust. So, talk me through, what has it been like working with coaches, or your specific coaches on this team? We heard Grethen talk about it a little bit, but we want to hear it from your perspective. How much have they really helped you all to solidify some of the game plans that you've been able to execute on?
Yeah, they've helped us a lot, very, very much, and they're putting in a lot of work behind the scenes, so we really appreciate them for that, and we wouldn't have been able to win without them, so never forget the coaches.
Mm-hmm. Are there any other shout outs you'd like to make?
Yeah, shout out to Dredro for being a rat.
I actually got a screen cap earlier from someone sending me from a Reddit comment because I called people rats.
Yeah.
Oh god. Right, so Psycho, thanks very much for stopping by, giving us an interview. Congratulations on your win. It's time for you to go and savor the victory with your team, and we'll see you nice and early next month, for the month after, shall we say, for that next tournament.
Yep. Thank you.
There you have it. No British Hurricane in the grand finals. New Kings by name, new Kings by nature. Can't wait for that one to be rolled out next season when we see them come out. Let's take a look at the bracket one last time for this month as the path to victory. Pick out your favorite team, see their path. The only one that matters, though, is that of the New Kings, able to get their revenge against SMC, who sent them to the lower bracket, and they claim a 4-1 scoreline in the grand final. Had a lot of Overwatch tonight, Rose. We're already halfway through.
Yeah, we're not done yet.
We got some more across the pond.
Yeah, we've got North American Contenders coming up at you in about 3 hours' time. 7 p.m. ET, 4 p.m. PT, trying to do the math, 1 a.m. CT. So we might not see you European Contenders fans, but we hope to get a chance to see some of you. Make sure you subscribe to the Contenders channel to get notified when North American Contenders goes live. And thank you so much for watching. This has been such a pleasure to be able to witness history being made in the European region, and I'm so excited for what this year of Contenders has to hold.
Thanks very much for joining us tonight, and as you said, stick around for the North American Contenders. That's it from me and Rose. We will see you next season for some European and North American action.